Place. Welcome to our workshop on green careers and entrepreneurship pathways, where purpose meets opportunity. We're living in a time of transformation. The climate crisis isn't just a challenge. It is also one of the biggest career and business opportunities we've had in a long time for our generation. The green economy is growing fast, creating new roles, new imperatives, new challenges that need to be solved, new industries, and innovations that didn't even exist 5 years ago. First up, we'll hear from UNICEF Yuva. I will introduce Georgia in just a minute, who will set the stage with an inspiring look at why the green economy matters and why youth and slightly older people alike are essential to driving this movement forward. You will also hear from the Magic Bus Foundation on the role of youth in building a sustainable future, and from the earthday.org on climate education that empowers youth for green careers and startups. Then we are going hands-on and real world. You will meet 8 amazing young entrepreneurs, startup founders, and professionals working on everything from clean energy to sustainable fashion to climate tech. This is your chance to ask, connect, and get inspired by people who are doing the work right now. And finally, we'll wrap up with a practical LinkedIn workshop showing you how to build a standout green profile, grow your network, and unlock real opportunities for internships, apprenticeships, and jobs in this space. So whether you dream of launching your own startup, joining a climate-positive company, or just want to explore how your skills can contribute, today is about opening doors and showing you what's possible. Let's dive in. Could we have the short AV, please, before?
We're told to plan our future. But how do you plan anything when the world around...
Yeah, volume, it's playing here. Children?
To plan our future. But how do you plan anything when the world around you... When we're told to plan our future. But how do you plan anything when the world around you is breaking? We wake up, go to work, scroll past news of heat waves, floods, wildfires, and we're supposed to just keep going? What if your job didn't add to the problem? What if it was part of the solution? Green jobs are jobs that help the planet. Not just tree planting or working at an NGO. They're in clean energy, transport, farming, waste, tech, teaching, even design. If your work helps reduce emissions, restore the environment, or make communities more climate ready, it's a green job. And the world urgently needs more of them to fight the climate crisis and foster sustainable industries.
And they're not just for scientists. Green jobs need coders, builders, teachers, nurses, artists. It's not a niche, it's a movement.
Because they do more than save the planet. They create better cities, fairer work, cleaner air, they give purpose, they offer security, they build something that lasts. By developing green skills, you can future-proof your career in a rapidly changing world. We don't want to choose between making a living and making a difference. We want jobs that do both. So are you ready to make your career greener? We're told to plan our future. But how do you plan anything when the world around you is...
So on that note, sorry for my bad skills on the computer, I'd like to introduce with great pleasure and deepest gratitude Georgia Verisco, who is the chief of Yuva and responsible for public-private partnerships across the nation and globally in youth development from UNICEF India. Georgia leads, as I said, public-private youth partnerships and a platform that advances skilling, employability, and youth leadership. She has over 2 decades of international development experience, specializing in adolescent and youth development, education, private sector engagement, and social impact. Before joining UNICEF India, Georgia served as Chief of Adolescents and Youth Development at UNICEF Lebanon and UNICEF Jordan, where she drove large-scale programs on education pathways, youth transitions, and civic engagement. Earlier, she held senior partnership roles at UNICEF UK and worked with UNDP, UNAIDS, and the OSCE on governance, gender equality, and youth empowerment. She holds a master's in peace and development studies and bachelor's in international security and conflict resolution from San Diego State University, USA. Georgia, please. That mic.
Sure.
You can sit or stand however you prefer.
Stand if that's okay.
There is a clicker.
Oh, great.
I don't know how to use it.
Does it work?
Clicker, chalta hai?
Yes, it's okay.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much, Mobius Foundation and Priyanka, for inviting Yuva and myself to represent Yuva here and to talk a bit about green skills and employment for a green future. I think the panel you put together today is really, really interesting. And it's great to be able to talk to young people in particular about green skills. I have a presentation, but hopefully it will be engaging. I'll try to make it as engaging as possible. And the whole focus of it is looking at, how can young people really power a sustainable tomorrow with and thanks to green skills. So just briefly on Yuva. So my name is Giorgia Varisco, and I'm the chief of Yuva. As Priyanka mentioned, Yuva is really interesting concept because it's a public, private, and youth partnership platform, which is hosted in UNICEF, which really basically came from the concept that addressing the challenges that young people face today cannot be done in isolation. So you really need to bring together a plethora of partners and stakeholders that enable you to reach, to define solutions that can help you reach at scale to solve some of the challenges that young people face today. And as you see, really the focus is around young people, and our priorities are around skilling, but skilling as a means to having access to economic opportunities, be it jobs, be it livelihoods, be it entrepreneurship, but also looking at how young people can be supported as change maker in creating the future they want to see. And you will see green is one of the main cross-cutting focus that we have. And of course, it touches among many SDGs. So here I have to quickly take my cards. Earlier this year, together with Capgemini and other partners, we've done a global snapshot on youth perspective on climate. What we found out is that young people are aware. They are excited about green jobs and green skills, but they ask themselves if they have the right skills, are they equipped? So what we found out, so first of all, over 5,000 youth have been reached through this snapshot, age 16 to 24, and 83% of them coming from the Global South. So looking at are they aware? So what came out is really that 67% of them, of course, worry about climate change, and they do want to go into a green career, right? And they're really excited because they start seeing that there are really interesting careers that are, being created in a way to solve the climate crisis. But 44% feel that they're prepared, which means that more than 0.5% feel that they might not have the right green skills, right? And what we know is that the skills mismatch is the biggest barrier to turn awareness into action. I think we all know what a green job is, right? So I don't have to go into this, right? So as a result of this, what we looked at, we know that this matters, really, really matters for India, right? We know India is a growing economy. According to German Watch, India is the 5th most vulnerable country in the world to climate change, right? What we've seen, and we've seen it globally, right? Extreme temperatures, changes in rainfall, reduction of agriculture productivity. You've seen the impact that climate change is having across the world, right? And this, of course, is also impacting the private sector. And what we know is that with over 65% of India's population under the age of 35, a youth center in just green transition is both an economic and environmental imperative, right? It offers a rare window of opportunity to align job creation, skilling, climate resilience, and equity. So what we've done, together with Capgemini and other partners, we wanted to look at why this mattered for India in specific, and we've done this National Landscape Analysis Report. The report is not public yet. It will be launched on the 27th of October, and of course we'll be posting links to the report on our website. Please feel free to go and have a look. It's very interesting, it's very in-depth, it goes very deep. Today I will talk to you a little bit more about some of the key findings. So the objective was really to understand, for the Indian context, what does green skills and green jobs mean, right? What are some of the priority skills that are needed for the young workforce in India? Being Yuva, we want to make sure that everything we do is youth-centered, so we're really looking at a youth-centric lens to look at both opportunities but also the challenges, and trying to demystify some of the roles and entry pathways across sectors. We've identified 5 key sectors, and it's great to see that we have here some young entrepreneurs today that are presenting some of this: waste management, textile, construction, agriculture, and of course automobiles. Through this report, we have surveyed 880 youth, but also 26 stakeholders from government, private sector, as well as others. So, what we found is that India's green economy boom is creating unprecedented opportunities, but a critical skills shortage threatens to derail the process. So what does this mean? It means that green job demand is rising. Green job posting in India are growing at a very fast pace and is actually outgrowing in a way, the workforce, right? Young people do not have enough skills to be able to access them. Actually, what we know is that today, only 1 in 10 new workforce entrants receives green-oriented skills development, right? But by 2030, 1 in 5 green position, if we continue at this rate, could remain empty, right? So this is a missed opportunity for many young people, despite the fact that estimates show that India's potential is massive, right? By 2047, what we see is that the growth of jobs could be really, really significant. And you touched a little bit more about purpose, right? And green jobs really are, in a way, that sweet spot between purpose and, of course, stability and pride. What also this report showed us is that, interestingly, there is, of course, a premium, a green wage premium that supports women actually also more than men, so also helps narrowing the gender gap. That the opportunities are continuing to evolve and continue to be created. And we also know that in terms of purpose, a lot of people see green jobs as a way to help fight climate change and also to support the growth of the economy. These slides, I think what we really want to show is that it is important to have green skills, but they need to go hand in hand also with life skills and 21st century skills. So what we know is that the future is both digital and green. We know that it's really important to understand what these skills, green skills are, and practice this, but this can be overlaid on 21st century skills. So for example, critical thinking and innovation can be a huge opportunity to do problem solving when it comes to the green green opportunities. And also, there are a lot of opportunities around leadership and teamwork around the green economy, looking at green entrepreneurship as an excellent opportunity for young people. So the 5 sectors we've identified, as mentioned earlier, go from sustainable agriculture to textile and handicraft. And what we wanted today is just maybe to have one quick snapshot on textile, because I know, for example, around AV and automobiles, there is a lot of conversation around it, but maybe textile is a bit less so. So why textile? Because it's the second largest employer in India after agriculture. Agriculture was also on the list. It does have a high environmental footprint when it comes to water, waste, and emissions. And it has also huge potential for eco-fashion, upcycling, and sustainable supply chains. So some of the emerging roles that the report has showed us that are coming up are in eco-fashion designs. We're also looking at artisan entrepreneurs. So looking at how blending traditional crafts with green innovation. Upcycling and recycling specialist. How do you turn textile waste into new products? And I think we have somebody here, they probably can speak very well on this topic. And sustainable supply chain managers, trainer, really looking at what does it mean compliance with the green standards. And last but not least is the natural fiber producer and processors, looking at, for example, bamboo, jute, organic cotton and others, and how to utilize them as a sustainable, I guess, a more sustainable textile. So that's it. I hope this was helpful in kind of having a bit of an understanding of the direction that we're taking, or that the world is taking. And thank you so much for being here. And again, the report will be ready on the 27th of October. So really encourage you all to have access to our website and to just have a read. Thank you. Q&A.
If anybody has any questions for Georgia, maybe we can take 1 or 2
Happy to.
from the audience.
Okay.
You can talk about something on the partnership which you are doing with you are on promoting the green skills.
Yeah, so green, as I mentioned, green is something that is really at one of the cross-cutting theme of UVA. So if, let's say, UVA has 3 key pillars, one being skilling, livelihood, and social impact, we've seen that green really cuts across all 3. So something that we're going to be doing is, after we will launch the report, at UVA we like to also have this ideation moment when we bring in, and I don't have the right name, apologies, but we bring in new young people to define solutions for, green solutions for challenges that are affecting the environment. And we're going to have one of those hackathon coming up to look at possible solutions within the green sector that can be scaled up to create not just either livelihood opportunity, but also green impacts. So that is something that we will be looking at. A very large program that we've been supporting with in partnership with the Ministry of Environment has been Marry Life. I'm sure you've heard of it. It's an app that has been created in partnership with the ministry to support the ministry in encouraging more volunteering in climate, so youth-led action in volunteering across all sectors, across the private sector, schools and all. But also to monitor a bit and just to get a sense of what scales are we talking about. And what we're seeing is that young people are volunteering really nationwide. Climate is really an important area for many of them. And there's been a lot of initiatives that have created really great results. Something that I liked, because I've been working in this field for a while, right? I was in the Middle East, fair enough, very different context, and the issues there were more related maybe to water scarcity, so a lot of ideas were around that. But what I've seen here is that young people taking initiative and thinking about, all this electronic waste that we have. We have more mobile phones and wires, how we, for example, in school, how we can really think about how to recycle them properly so that they don't damage the climate. And there were so many other young people really taking the lead on large-scale initiatives, whether it is cleaning beaches and cleaning waterways, as well as many others. We also have the climate warrior, I think they're called, which are champions at local level that are really bringing in communities and young people, building their awareness on how they can contribute to addressing some of the climate change issues and let them take action. So really important for continue to raise the awareness around this. So those are some that I can think of. I'm sure there's many more.
Thank you, Julia.
Plan, madam, for the grants and all from the UNICEF for some idea to get you. If someone has some idea and really wants to put it, and
Yeah.
financially not so comfortable. So do you have such program that someone presents you, and then if you find the idea quite good?
So we're having that coming up, which is going to be this, I'm saying hackathon, it's not the right name of it, of course, but it's like really having a call for solution, that's how it's called. Having a call for, we're going to have a call for solution, is that the right name? I think it's towards the end of the year. It's going to be in November, October, November. So we'll have that announcement, and we invite young people to come in with potential solutions. Happy if you want, I can get your contact and keep you posted on this. And this is, again, the idea is to bring together innovators and think about possible solutions that address climate, maybe test some of them out and see whether they work. And then for us, the most important thing is really bring together new ideas, bring together partners, but with scale in mind, right? Your solution should really be replicable and scalable and really impact pan-India.
Thank you so much, Georgia.
You're welcome.
If you could stay a while, I'm sure there'll be more questions as they get more comfortable. Next, it gives me great pleasure. We have a very, very interesting presentation on the role of youth in building a sustainable future. It's an interactive storytelling session highlighting how young people can become change agents in the green economy. And that will be delivered by Mr. Philip Matthew, who is from the Magic Bus Foundation, India. He is Senior Director of Livelihoods. With over 26 years of experience, Philip Matthew is an expert in designing and managing strategic programs and policy interventions in various areas such as livelihoods, entrepreneurship, social inclusion and development, local governance, and poverty reduction programs. He has worked with government bodies in the United Nations and non-governmental development organizations. Philip's competence extends to capacity building, curriculum and guideline development, and building ecosystem support mechanisms for development work. He has worked on flagship programs for different state and central governments, including Kudumbashree, Government of Kerala, and the National Rural Livelihood Mission, Government of India. Philip has also collaborated with larger organizations such as the Self-Employed Women Association, SEVA, and the United Nations Development Program. Philip holds a postgraduate degree in social work from the University of Madras and an LLB, and is currently pursuing his PhD from IIM Shillong. Welcome, Philip.
Thank you, Mobius Foundation and all dignitaries. I'm really happy that I can walk and talk, because if I'm going to stand here or I'm going to sit, the energy will not come. I'm going to take only 7 to 8 minutes, so you will be getting 2 minutes to discuss or talk. I'm going to present what Magic Bus India Foundation doing with doing for the young people in India. It is very difficult to read, I think, because I was expecting while looking in the screenshot of the screen of the laptop, when we are going to here, the pixel size is very, very small, so very difficult to read. Okay, the story is, last year we have reached out 2.14 lakh young people in a year. And this year we committed to reach out young people of 3.4 lakh young people. And this is all mobilizing young people from the economically weaker section and training them and placing them and handholding for minimum 3 months, ensuring that young people, those who are coming from economically weaker section, are in the job, continuing minimum 3 months. That is the norm set by the Ministry of Skill Development. That is what we are trying to do it. And our average salary which we are placing, of course it is a pan-India average, that is 15,000 rupees per month. That is a salary we are keeping. And one thing which we always ensure in our program, that is any cohort of students or young people in any training, 50% minimum should be women. And we reached nearly 60% overall women participation in our programs. We have two different types of program. One is through our center-based program, where we conduct program for the undergraduate students, those who pass the 12th standard. And we have a huge number of people, those who are graduated. We work with more than 1,000 colleges across India. And how we reaching this scale, because the ecosystem partnership is very important. We are connected with more than 4,000 employers in the country. That is why we are able to place this much number. And of course, one more thing, we have a strong connection with our funding partners across India and outside India also, because a huge number of money we are getting for this kind of initiatives. That is why we are able to scale this much. I don't know whether you can read it. I will explain it. What is it? And if you look at the labor force participation of India, especially women labor force participation, currently 2023-24 data is talking, it is a 41.7%. But India is wanted to be very, very vibrant by 2047. And there should be 40 million women should be in the labor force. Otherwise, India cannot become 30 trillion economy. That is what Vikasit Bharat aiming for. An additional 145 million women to be in the labor force, other than outside the current growth rate. How do we find that? Only we will get these women from the rural area, and not only, or maybe a peri-urban area or small towns. That is what we identified with a kind of white paper study. Then if you look at the youth below 29, what is the labor force participation? That is coming to 20.2 as per the latest LPR report. And we are doing, what we are doing, we are mobilizing young people between the age of 18 to 25 from economically weaker section. When we are talking economically weaker section, means that is below 3.5 lakh per annum, that is a family income, and people who are not in education, not in employment, not in training, because they are going to be the first time job seekers, because they want actually the job. So such kind of, we kept that kind of eligibility criteria. And of course, what we are trying to do, I don't know whether you can read it. I will only explain the center point. We are doing nothing. We are not a placement agency. We always say we are a skilling agency. What we are trying, enhancing the agency of young people, setting the goal in their life. It is going to be continuing their entire life. So we are helping them to pursue for that goal. It means for a first step, we are helping them to place in a job. Only first step. Why? Because agency, anyone, I hope you know, when you are discussing about empowerment, agency is one of the concepts which came out, especially in the academic world, when we talk about empowerment. If a person who is having empowered by agency, that person will fly away. We are trying to build that agency through our skilling program, and it is completely aligned with ILO ILO 2021, ILO brought a kind of framework for it, and there is 4 elements in that. That is a socio-emotional skill competency, then cognitive and metacognitive, then work readiness, and the last one, I don't know whether that is very important on this conference, that is the green skills. This 4 element, that is what ILO brought it. Completely our content is aligned with that content, and ultimately we want to build the agency of young people. And we have received our content QP code, that is what the government of NCVT approved in the name of Client Engagement Associate. And what we are trying to do, we are not doing any young people placing in any blue collar job, rather than we place them in the gray collar job, that is in the service sector job roles. I will try to connect later how it is linked with green. What we are trying, ultimately, when we are doing this, we wanted to contribute to the nation's building, or I should say we are contributing to the GDP. When we are enhancing the agency of young people and continuously they are getting the job or income to the family, that is helping the family in addition to enhancing the GDP of the country. This is the whole theory of change we are talking about. I'm not going to explain this, what we are doing it. We are mobilizing young people. We are selecting youth with enrolling them, then training them, then work readiness. We are preparing them for work readiness. That is the first step. Then we are providing a kind of career support, so they will be continuing the job, guided journey. And of course, we are providing very much focus our sessions on women. So because we identified that women should become in the workforce because it is lagging behind. That is, with this very much focused on women. I don't know, again, this is completely gone because of the screen. The essence is there are 3 elements in our content. When we look at that, that is number 1, that is a personal readiness. It means in a way building the enhancing means the person living to ready for a job. Second is a professional readiness. If I am going to be in a job, I need to understand what kind of sector I am going to be. We are preparing young people for that. The last is the future readiness, where we are adding another 30 hours of green skill programs. Why the green skill program? So far, in the first slide, I was trying to say, so far we have mobilized and skill placed 5.8 lakh young people. If our young people, we are not doing anything, we are doing green awareness only. If our young people, those who are in any office, going to save the light, switching off the light if it is not going to be useful, 2 hours in a day kind of things, and 5.8 lakh young people working in an office, saving the energy, it will save in a year nearly 15 megawatt hours energy. This is only one impact. If I wanted to make it 15, actually for making that 30 kilowatt hours, I'm saving it. That is the calculation. I'm just telling because we are providing a kind of awareness to young people. That is what I want to say. This is how we are approaching the green. That is very important because the one is internally as an organization, another one is externally. Externally, of course, we are dealing with the young people. This is our policy. I am not much explaining it, already explained. And this is our key component of the sessions which we are dealing with the 30 hours. There is know your environment, green skills, what and why, then energy conservation, water conservation, and the waste management. These are the areas which we are teaching young people. Yeah, again, I'm not explaining. I hope this is an introduction to environment, climate change, green economy. I wanted to say that especially that 4 hours, that is a refuse. I'm going to finish. 2 minutes.
Ma'am has to catch a flight.
Yeah, I'm going to finish. Refuse, reduce, reuse, and recycle. This is the whole idea which we are trying to inculcate as a value of things. We have taken one more step. Not only urban area, rural area, how do we reach out? We identified there is a 4E. That is a 4E means ecologically embedded entrepreneurial ecosystem that linked with the skills and entrepreneurial ecosystem in the rural area. So we brought out a kind of an idea. We will set up a kind of Lailu Resource Center in a rural plus peri-urban area, where we will have a scoping study. Based on the scoping study, we will enhance the skilling, we will enhance the self-employment and entrepreneurship. That completely going to be on the ecologically embedded system, where it is very much connected with the particular geography. This is the whole concept which we are trying to build, inculcate the values on green to the young people. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Philip, on that fantastic presentation on what Magic Bus India Foundation is doing. Obviously this is a crowd based in Delhi, but a lot of what they are doing is at scale in rural India, so, it's important. I'm very, very happy to present our next speaker, Karuna Singh, who is the Regional Director of Earth Day.org. Ms. Karuna Singh is working currently core of her work is a strong emphasis on climate education and literacy, which she recognizes as the foundation for enabling informed action and long-term environmental stewardship. She has authored several ebooks presenting innovative case studies to advance sustainable economics. She also contributes to policy shaping processes, having served on steering committees with the Global Environment Facility, UNDP, and India's Ministry of Environment, Forest, and Climate Change for the Small Grants Program. Karuna ji, please, if we can have you, and thank you for your patience. I know you have a flight.
Good afternoon. It's such a pleasure being here. Thank you, Mobius Foundation, and thank you in particular to you for putting together what I hope would be an interesting site for the youth that has filled this room. So I'm with Earth Day Network. The day began on in April 1970. And it began with teach-ins, as we call them, in colleges. So it was the youth who were the core of the movement that began 55 years ago, and it's youth that continue to lead it. I just want to say this to you. You are the first generation that are facing climate change, and sadly the last one who will be able to do anything about it. My lungs might take the pollution of the country for another 10 years, which might be my projected life. But think about it. Are your lungs going to be able to take 60, 70 years of pollution? So when you say that I'm doing it for you, I say no, be selfish, do it for yourself. So I really think that at the bottom, at the foundation of any youth skills, any green jobs that are coming up is climate education. Climate education must be mandated, and only then can we develop youth skills that will take advantage of the ever-expanding green economy and lead us to sustainable development. So ask your countries, if you're from different countries. There are several countries who have mandated climate education in their NDCs, but there are still others that need to do it. It's very important to have climate education as the foundation on which you build the skills, on which you will be able to take up jobs and lead through the highway of the green economy into sustainability. So I'm not going to tell you what green jobs are, but of course they will be profitable to you first. Let's say that. It's a way of earning your livelihood. And human beings are selfish. They are survivalists. That is how the species has been made. We have always learned to survive. And to survive in today's world, you need money, right? There are very few Rishi Munis who go and sit in the Himalayas. Most of us need to lead our lives, and we need livelihoods for it. So those are the many jobs that the ILO says are going to open up. Are you ready for them? I'm sure you are thinking about it, and I'm sure you're preparing for it. But I wanted to put the slide up to show you how many opportunities are going to be available for you. I'm going to skip over this because at the end of the conference, so much has been said already, but maybe I stop at this one. People have not thought of green accounting. This is another avenue that you can develop. Those who are in commerce and accounting, who want to be chartered accountants, you can specialize in green accounting and auditing. This is a new avenue that has opened up. Again, I'm going to go over this. Everyone's spoken about it. So we've been talking about green jobs, but how about building your own startups? That is just as important, and it is fantastic to see. I'm sorry I won't be able to stay back and hear about all the startups you have, but I would love to hear about them later, and maybe we can support them in some way. So more and more people are going into startups. So think of those as well. Even for that, you need your green education because what will climate education do for you? It'll teach you the critical thinking, it'll give you the technical skills, it'll teach you to be innovative. Believe me, in my time when I was educated, I was not taught to be innovative. I was taught to read what's in the textbook and spill it out. And that's how I got my marks. But now you need, and if I asked the teacher a question which was out of the textbook, I was scolded for that. But today you need the skill to have critical thinking, to be innovative and creative. So those skills are going to come to you based on your climate education. And I wanted to give you the good news that successes are there. And successes are there from a lot of youth that are doing it. This is from IIT Delhi, a group of young students who have taken the diesel fumes that come out and turned it into printing ink. So they've made money in it, and they've done good for the environment. Many of you may have heard of Prasiddhi, a young girl who believes in the forests, in planting. And again, she has been successful in it. She's been awarded, which I'm so glad, because if you show her up as a lighthouse, many others will follow the example. Because all of us need praise, right? We want to be recognized, and if you can do good for the environment, for yourself, and get the praise, why not? Vidyut Mohan, he is also somebody who has been very successful, and we hope that he will help out reduce the pollution that comes after the threshing happens up in Punjab and other states. And I was so glad to meet him today. I told him, I said, you know, I'm showing you off as an example, because here's a new skill, here's a green skill. He uses storytelling, and he's so successful in it. Look at the amount of people who are following him. So he's doing good for himself, and he's doing good for us. Siddharth Hande, I don't know how many of you have heard of him. His organization, Kabadiwala Connect, is one of the few organizations that the ADB has supported. ADB normally supports only governments, but for Siddharth Hande, he's doing such fantastic work connecting the Kabadiwalas. He's got it all digitized. If you want something picked up, it can be done. It can be recycled in a scientific manner. And then Kaushik, who went on to win the Earthshot Prize. He is from Andhra Pradesh, and he has shown women how to minimize the use of water and then still grow their vegetables very successfully. So I'm just showing you a few of these to tell you that there is good, there is success, and there is self-benefit in going green and getting into green jobs. So green jobs, first of all, will earn you the livelihood, but they go beyond. They are good for Earth itself. And why do we say that? Look at this example. If somebody is busy setting up the solar panels, he may be setting it up in one part of the city, but the other parts of the city will also benefit by getting cleaner air. So whatever good you do with a green job is going to go beyond. So here's my mantra again. Let's mandate climate education. It will be the benefit for all. It will be your foundation for green skills and green jobs. And it will be the benefit of humanity to take it forward. That's where you can, if you can take the QR code, there's lots of material we have there. We too honor heroes, young people who do good for the environment. We too honor women and women's groups who are working for the environment. And let me just finish by saying we are all in it together. No one person, one organization, one government, one country can do it. We are citizens of Earth first before we are citizens of Delhi or India or Asia. So whatever happens in any one part of the world is going to affect us all. So let's do it for our common good and our common benefit. Thank you so much for having me.
But I must congratulate you for a very, the big font that you used, and you really tailored your presentation for the young people here. Could we just have a round of applause for Georgia, Philip, and Karna ma'am as well?
If you ask AI to do a presentation, help you with your presentation, the font they use is that. Thank you all.
Thank you. So it gives me great pleasure to go to the next phase of our workshop and to introduce to you Alek Kapoor, who Karunaji just showcased. So I'm glad it was like that kind of a moment for me when it came on the slide. He's an actor and climate content creator. The idea here for this section of the workshop is to maybe, many times when we think about the environment, we think about NGO jobs, we think about development sector jobs, we think about being in academia. Do we think about being digital creators and doing digital marketing or doing something for profit? So what I'd hope that you take away from this session is that any career is a green career. It's just a matter of your sensibility, and whatever skills, whatever it is that you're interested in, can actually be utilized for purpose and profit. And there are a lot of things that are open to you beyond whether you take up science, commerce, or arts in 12th grade, or the undergraduate subject that you study. It does not define you. Things are much bigger, and anything that you study can be leveraged towards this. So that's what I hope for you to take from this. So Alek, he's an actor and climate content creator. Alec crafts powerful stories on climate sustainability and innovation with a community of 700,000 across Instagram, YouTube, and other platforms. He simplifies complex environmental issues into relatable narratives. His work bridges entertainment, education, and impact, inspiring meaningful action for a greener future. Alec, please, thank you so much for your presence here. So this session, the brief to all the speakers was they have 5 minutes to talk about themselves and 10 minutes is for audience Q&A. So let's see how we do on that.
Hello, everyone.
So be ready with your questions.
Yes, so I'm supposed to talk about my journey in 5 minutes. I would say it's about these 3 words: connection, concern, and then action. I shifted to Mumbai in 2007. I wanted to be an actor, participated in Mr. India, went on to do a lot of stuff, anchoring, ads. I've done more than 100 ads, sitcoms, live anchoring, reality shows and all that. But throughout all this while, I always had a strong connection to, I would say, let's say Mother Earth. I would just feel very strongly when I would see a tree being cut down, or some scenes of pollution somewhere in Mumbai, or BMC not doing their job. And I did some sort of online volunteering way back in 14, 15. That fizzled out. But I was the sort of guy who would go to the park, and I still do twice a week, and I just lie down on the grass, and I smell the grass, because that sort of rejuvenates me. And the other day for Ganpati Visarjan, I was out for a walk to see the whole drama that happens, all the Visarjan, and I was lucky enough to stand on the road and smell Ratrani. I don't know, there's a flower called Ratrani. And after a long time, I got that whiff, and it revived certain memories, childhood memories in me. So I was there standing on the side of the road, smelling that for 15 minutes. So I would smell it and just see if someone's there or not, and I would smell it again. So this is the kind of connection I have with Mother Earth. And because of this connection, there was concern, because obviously I would see that things are going wrong in our planet. And that concern was, it would just increasing day by day over the years, because I'd been reading about climate change since 2001. Back then it was on page 9 and 10 of newspapers and more as conspiracy theory news. But I knew something is wrong and something needs to be done about this. And that concern became so strong that around lockdown, I realized that something needs to be done about this, but what is the best thing that I can do? And that's where the action bit started, because I did a SWOT analysis and I realized I don't have any sort of formal education. Like, I haven't done engineering, I'm just a plain graduate in economics. By that time, I'd also been working as an actor for a while. So I didn't really have any technical skill to contribute to doing something, to make an impact. So then I saw that, okay, here I am. I'm comfortable in front of the camera. This is my skill. I'm an introvert. I like working by myself. What is the best thing I can do? And I realized that on social media, there weren't many people talking about climate and environmental issues. And the other thing was, I also wanted to do something that would complement, my acting journey. So I didn't want to do something entirely different. So I took that into consideration, and I started, I already had a lot of information because I used to read a lot, and I started scripting, and I started shooting. And suddenly, before I knew it, to my surprise, actually, people started liking it and things started going viral. And that's when I realized, okay, now this is creating an impact, so I need to probably give it more time. And yes, in the last 2 years, had this been 2 years ago, I wouldn't have known a lot of you, but I know quite a few faces here. So I would say, yeah, it has created some sort of an impact, and I have made a lot of new friends. And I have the opportunity now of talking about my experience to, sort of encourage more people to do something about this problem that we are facing. So yeah, so I guess I'm doing a green job. I'm doing something, I'm doing my bit. I'm not really educated in the environmental sciences, or I haven't done an MBA in sustainability, or I don't have any other skills, but I'm using my skill to do, to make the kind of impact that I can make. And that's my story. Thank you.
We'll take some questions now from the audience.
Yes, sir.
Actually, I'm here because of you. I saw your post.
Thank you.
And that's why I'm here. I just want to ask you what drives you inside, like what drives you to be, I saw stories all over, like there are stories from a product to a village. Like I saw the bird thing that you posted, yeah? So it's such a vast cover that you are covering up.
Yeah.
So what makes you like select the particular topic, like?
So the idea is to highlight as many sustainable startups, as many climate heroes, as many people doing good work, as many people trying to create an impact from whatever space they are at. And yes, that's the only thing. And of course, the algorithm also has to play a role in that. I mean, I can't be making the same stories. I mean, that's the other aspect of it. If you have to, if you want to make more stories, you also have to understand the platform you're on. So you have to understand the algorithm. So, I mean, that also has a very important role to play in that. But I try and make stories only about people that are trying to create an impact in the climate and environmental sector.
Thank you. Very good work that you are doing.
Thank you.
So Alec, really glad to know about kind of work you are doing. I just wanted to know, because the conversation we have around social media and especially the spaces, it's people perceive it as a very strong force of evil, has more controllable power on social media compared to the goodwill oriented people, right? And many times the great content, meaningful content that's being produced, that's not getting viral much easily compared to someone who is using foul language or such way. It is much easier to get viral in that way, right? So did you also experience some challenging, because when you started, so did you also experience some challenges comparatively, some counterparts started parallelly and in other space that person gone viral and you have faced some challenges, or it's been a very smooth story?
Frankly यार ये तो हर जगह होता है, खाली सोशल मीडिया पे नहीं, अगर आप असली ज़िंदगी में भी देखोगे कोई अच्छा काम कर रहा है और कोई बाजू में कोई गाली दे रहा है तो लोग वो जो गाली दे रहा है या जो कुछ बुरा कर रहा है उस पर ज़्यादा ध्यान जाएगा. सोशल मीडिया पे ऐसा, I would say, yeah, it's been, I mean, there are times when I think about that I should probably expand my content, I should talk about politics, I should talk about other things that are also going viral. And when do things do go viral and I'm not able to talk about it because I'm only focusing on this, there are double thoughts, of course, hota hai. But then I also realize that this is the path I have chosen, and if I have to create an impact, this is what I've chosen. So it's a balance. I try and create a balance. But I wouldn't say that there is someone else who has started out. I mean, it probably also doesn't show on my algorithm that who are the other people, because the kind of people I follow are completely different. But that has never bothered me, because I know that I'm doing what comes to me naturally, and I'm doing what is really important for me. And also I'm doing what is needed right now, not what I want to do. What I wanted to do was be an actor, but that wasn't fulfilling that sense of purpose in me. And when I started doing what was actually needed, I didn't really have to, like, I work hard, but I don't really have to work that hard to promote it or for things to go viral. It just happens automatically.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll take one more question.
Hi, hi, I'm Ajanta, and I'm your follower.
Thank you.
So, Alec, you said that you are an actor, right? So you have a different set of skills. You are given a script, you deliver the script, right? But when you shifted your career from, or added one more career to your profile, which is content creator, what skills you had to develop and who helped you? Because I think now you choose your own topic, you write about it, you research about it. So how much time did you take in preparing yourself or skilling yourself?
So writing was not a skill that I needed to learn because I'd been writing earlier also. I'd been writing movie reviews, and frankly, I liked writing. Researching was, of course, my core strength, so I like researching also. The new skills that I had to learn were editing, getting comfortable with social media platforms because I used to detest that. But because that is something you have to do, it's a part and parcel of the game. So it took a while. It took me around 3-4 months. Initially, I had an agency helping me out over there. But now I'm very comfortable with it. There are days when till yesterday, I was off from Instagram for 3 days because it just gets too much. My eyes start paining. So there are these days, but it's not like any skill cannot be learned if you just put your heart to it. For example, now I'm learning, I have already learned how to make AI videos. So, you need to keep on upgrading yourself, I guess, in any field to be able to have an impact. Otherwise, you will be outdated pretty soon. Oh yeah, I've heard that. Yeah, I've heard that. Thank you.
I'll tell you one more observation. I am a big fan of Nas Daily as well. But since they have started delivering AI videos, now I don't follow them, Alec. Because for environment or for, work related to people, you need people in your videos.
I understand. But it's a skill nonetheless that needs to be learned because it's a part and parcel of the game. So it's not like you use that all the time, but it's something as in when if a situation arises where you need to use that, it's something important to have that arrow in your quiver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
So, loving the audience questions. This is an interactive session where real-life green entrepreneurs and professionals share their inspiring journeys and hard-won lessons. So definitely ask a lot of questions. You've got that one-on-one. There are practical insights, insider perspectives, and real-world advice on carving out a career in the green economy. So would love to hear some more questions from the young people here. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Pooja Malhotra, who is the founder of a sustainable fashion business called Regene. Pooja's career spans over 2 decades in the advertising and marketing industry, with extensive experience in handling multiple blue-chip brands and working alongside eminent professionals. Being passionate about the environment, she and her partner Prerna gave up their corporate jobs and founded Regene, an initiative towards driving sustainability by creating handcrafted artisanal bags from upcycled denim. Growing up surrounded by traditional crafts, Pooja developed a deep appreciation for the artistry and wanted to incorporate this unique touch into their bags, filling a gap in the market for sustainably crafted, culturally rich products. Both the founders are driven by the belief that fashion can be both responsible and inspiring, leaving a positive imprint on the planet. Additionally, Pooja is a certified life coach from Ericsson International and focuses on solution-based life coaching. She also teaches postgraduate students on various media-related subjects and conducts corporate training programs. Pooja, welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Priyanka, for the introduction. Before I delve into what we do and what Regene is all about, I thought let's have some fun and we do a pop quiz. So I'm just going to throw some questions at you, and let's see what you have to say. How much of plastic waste does India generate daily? Any clue? Any guesses? Yeah, बहुत सारा. इतना सारा. 26,000 tons, with a large portion, of course, going to the landfills. How much of textile waste does India generate annually? Take a wild guess. 10,000? 10,000, okay. 7.8 million tons, which is 8.5% of global textile waste. So we seem to be shining everywhere. What is the amount of waste that fast fashion will contribute to India by 2030? Okay. Any number? 148 million tons. This is an interesting one. Do you know how much time do the following fabrics take to decompose? I'm going to throw up the fabrics, don't you worry. Spandex. So you can tell me in years or months, whatever works. That's right, 500 years. Acrylic. 200 years. We're talking in hundreds, right? Nylon, 40 years. Polyester, anybody? Yeah, 200 years. Linen? 10, 20 years? Linen is 3 months only. Wool.
1 month.
Little better than, I mean, it's not as great as linen. It's 3 years, but definitely a lot better than the bottom 4. Cotton? No, 6 months. So just gives you a snapshot of the kind of time that synthetics take to disintegrate. How much water does growing of 1 kg of cotton approximately consume? Any guesses? So it's actually about 10,000 liters of water. We're talking about growing cotton right now. Cotton or denim, depending on, if denim is made out of cotton, then 10,000 liters. Okay, now jumping on to some different kind of questions. How many artisans does India have? Any guesses? And we just saw in one of the presentations, we are such a large, one of the most populated countries. We have about 7 million artisans. Official estimate, unofficially, which have not been recorded, would be around 200 million. Can you guess which sector is the largest employer of rural India? And we heard this in one of the presentations. Handicrafts, that's right. And what percentage of the craft workforce in India do you think are women-led? 70%, that's right. And these are largely, not only are these are women-led economies, and women are responsible for sustaining their households. How many unique crafts does India have? 3,000 unique crafts and over 500 GI tagged products. So that's the that's the repertoire of crafts and skill that exists in our country. This is a very interesting, and this is my last question. According to the WWF, if we were to continue at this rate, do you know how much would we need to supply ourselves by 2050? And this is a worldwide WWF number. It's quite a bizarre answer, actually. We would need about 2.5 planets, 2.5 Earth, and which is obviously impossible. So why am I sharing these numbers with you? So this is to also bring out the fact that fashion is one of the driving problems as far as sustainability is concerned. But at the same time, we have such a rich we have such a rich heritage, which is a solution to the problem as well. And that actually was the genesis, inspiration behind starting our company Regine. So what we started with really is, what we do is we collect waste from factories and mills, and we convert it into all kinds of bags. Not only that, we also fuse traditional crafts onto these bags and give it a contemporary feel, give it a contemporary twist to make them, look beautiful. And in the process, our endeavor is really to prove that sustainability can be both beautiful and can be aspirational. One doesn't have to really choose beauty over, good, doing good. So that's what we do. In the process, what we are really trying to do is, we save a lot of waste fabric from going to the landfill. Two, the discarded denim, which has already consumed a lot of water. We just saw 10,000 liters of water get consumed in growing 1 kg of cotton. So a lot of water, a lot of resources have already gone into creating that fabric, which we realized was lying waste or rotting in a lot of godowns, mills, factories, which are either surplus or rejects. They get a second life. They get consumed. Third, we also try and support artisanal communities. As we saw, India's got a very rich traditional, cultural heritage, and unfortunately, these crafts are slowly dying. The next generation is not really picking up. A lot of our artisans that we work with, they say that our sons and our daughters don't want to carry this forward because there is no demand, or there is, it's not as profitable, it's not as lucrative. So we try and introduce those crafts, preserve the rich heritage that India has, and support these artisanal communities as well. That's what we do. However, it hasn't been a very easy journey. What we started with was very different. And I'm just going to take 2 minutes to tell you about our journey, and then we can open up for questions as well. We started way back in 2019, end of 2019. And then COVID hit, and we had to stop our operations. And what really was the genesis was my partner, Prerna. Her son's school actually asked for a bag made out of a recycled bag. And we started looking for something which was durable, which could hold so many books, which wouldn't tear apart. And she just took out a pair of jeans and she just converted it into a bag. And it turned out to be very beautiful. And that sparked, this idea of why don't we actually use denim to create bags. They're durable, they look smart, they look very nice. Why don't we, use this? And we all have a pair of jeans at home. And that's how it started. And soon we realized that using discarded jeans was perhaps not the best way, because A, it wasn't scalable. Two, we wouldn't be making a large impact, because collecting jeans and turning it into bags may not create a scalable impact. Two, we also looked at it from a customer standpoint. Would the consumer be willing to buy a bag made out of someone else's pair of jeans, no matter how clean or washed it may become? And then we started researching, because this idea had already formed in our minds, and we really wanted to take it forward. And then we started researching, digging, and we realized that there is a lot of waste, surplus, reject fabrics that exist in the market, that exist with factories, which are not consumed at all and may find its way to the landfill. And that's how we started creating bags out of that. And then we also realized that as consumers, as those in all of you, who, when you go shopping, how do you shop? Do you ask for a sustainable product, or do you pick a product that looks nice? That looks nice, right? So that was the insight, that while It's important to be sustainable, but it's also important to look, the product must look something which attracts, which pulls the customer to go pick it up. And that's why we started introducing the traditional crafts. And traditional crafts are actually even also very sustainable. Not only are we not only are we supporting artisanal communities, but they use less. They're mostly hand woven, so no electricity or less electricity, less power, less water consumption. It's a lot more sustainable. Not to mention that they look gorgeous. So that's what we started doing. Priyanka wanted me to talk a little bit about entrepreneurship, it's a very gratifying experience. Both my partner and I come from corporate jobs, but we always wanted to do something on our own. It's, I think, for all of you who want to do a startup, it's important to do a good research. It's very gratifying because when you see something transform, when we see our product transform from waste into something beautiful, it's really creatively very satisfying. When customers love your product, you feel that it's all the hard work is really worth it. I think from the input standpoint, if you plan to pursue this path, just be patient, be at it, don't give up. There'll be good days and there'll be bad days, but at the end of the day, it'll be all worth it. So no matter what you do, whether you make a conscious choice, whether you pick up a good brand, whether you start your own sustainable venture, please remember that every action counts. Thank you. Can I just play a 2-minute AV? So maybe I'll just play a 2-minute AV, which will just give you a glimpse of what we do. Can you play the AV, please? Thank you.
It was not easy to give up full-time jobs after working for 2 decades. To suddenly leave it all and start a new brand, that too in a competitive environment with other brands doing the same work, wasn't the easiest. But Pooja and Prerna didn't give up and managed to break through the clutter.
Pooja, thank you so much. We are, we have a lot of great speakers left, and we've got to close this session in the next hour. and we have that LinkedIn workshop. So let's see how we can do that. Our next speaker is Alok Rai. Are you in the room? Hi. Let me introduce Alok to you. Alok Rai is the founder of Alarth Green, a clean energy enterprise that runs Surya Sangam, a platform accelerating rooftop solar adoption by connecting households, institutions, and businesses with reliable, affordable, and solar solutions. He is also the co-founder of the Social Purpose Trust, a nonprofit committed to making India carbon neutral and carbon smart through youth-driven programs like the Carbon Smart India Fellowship, Solar Sathi, and Offset Tree. A national NSS awardee honored by the President of India, Alok currently serves as member of National Youth Advisory Council of the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports. Over the past decade, he has worked closely with bureaucracy across 7 states, leading initiatives that bridge sustainability, education, and community development. He is passionate about inspiring young people to explore green career pathways and equipping them to thrive in the emerging green economy. Alok, please.
Much. So, thank you, ma'am, for giving this opportunity to come over here and talk about especially green entrepreneurship, right? So, most of the talk I'd be focused on, I personally feel the fight of climate change is not the fight of head, it's fight of heart. Honestly speaking, over the years, we have pondered upon a lot of data, a lot of insights, a very powerful documentary which could inspire you, right, for a moment. But unless you are inspired enough going outside of the room for a day, for 2 days, for a month, and that inspires you to act, till then this problem will not solve. So it's important that how exactly we come forward as a unit, and especially young people are real hope. So I'll just talk about my journey, how exactly I end up in this space. So it all started, I was an electrical engineer from Gurukul Kangri University, Haridwar, Uttarakhand, who don't have a lot of clues, right? Where exactly my career is headed, right? Corporate jobs are there. One thing was very innate was something I enjoy was a community service, going along villages, doing volunteering activities and all, right? Out of that, out of my work, I got recognized way back in 2014 by President of India with Indira Gandhi NSS Award back then in 2014. After college, what next, right? So there was that confusing moment because since there are young people, right? It's important to understand these enigmas, these doubts, these questions are always there when you are pondering about your future. So at that point of time, I was literally like, should I go with my inner calling, something like community work, social work related thing, or something like I got placed in a Tata consultancy service back then, right? So, but I choose my inner calling and I moved to a social sector, did Gandhi Fellowship program, where I really got exposed to, even though I was doing a lot of volunteering work, there I could learn the system thinking, right? How exactly this problem exists and how exactly you can design your solution, how exactly you can design your public system projects, how exactly you can work with bureaucracy. And post that, for almost 7-8 years, I worked with 7 states. Their bureaucracy from block to state level. I also worked with Education Minister and later Chief Minister of Delhi, Ms. Atishi, as her consultant, right? So all was going good, and there is alter ego, right? You feel कि you are doing great. यार आप तो छोड़ करके community service कर रहे हो. You are doing community service. You care for people, right? So there is some sense of ego comes in. But there was some moment I was in Bhutan way back in 2023 to celebrate my birthday on 3rd November. And parallelly, Delhi was choking. I was based out of Delhi and I could see the sense of community ownership towards the climate, right? I can see that how exactly each and every person is putting priority to climate. No, don't honk, right? value. So all the policies that I could see in Bhutan, I could see that culture is so powerful, and that alter ego broke, right? Bro, you are just doing a kind of consulting gig which is earning you money, right? Good is that that's passion oriented, that is impacting people, that's positive. But if you truly care for communities, what would happen 75 years down the line, right? What your ancestors has given, can you carry that legacy? Will the same your ancestors are going to see the same scenarios, right? So there something broke, and I took a resolve that I should go for a climate change aspect, what I can contribute. And since I have been associated with youth networks recently, over a year back, I got also inducted to National Youth Advisory Council, first National Youth Advisory Council by Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports. So then I started working with young people, started an organization called the Social Purpose Trust, which is still active and which is still very actively working with young people, which is a non-profit organization, right? So out of there, we started doing carbon smart behavior workshop, engaging with young people. What is carbon smart behavior? What were small changes that you can do in your lifestyle? Interestingly, we found out in the documentary also, if you see the history part, you would find out that innately Indian people have a lot of sustainable practices. Virtually, एक bottle आती है, तो virtually you many times try to reuse it. Traditionally, that families has. Fast fashion is new trend, right? Because we are catching up to the HDI level, higher income, economies. They were not very positive environment-wise, right? So then these behavioral aspects came. Then after some point of time, these workshops, some volunteering activities, this realizer, boss, केवल ज्ञान से नहीं होगा. You have to go around doing action projects. We started doing research around carbon credit, solar. So this whole solar thing came. Ma'am just gave me five minutes. I think I'm just cutting it short. So this whole solar thing came. A lot of glossy picture we saw. But what has happened when we pull in the data? So we found out 100 gigawatt हमने अभी recently achieved किया. But if you dig in deep, you'll find out only 2 gigawatt, 2.5 gigawatt can be accounted to the residential rooftop solar, right? A lot of projects that are happening, they are the ground mounted, which has a lot of significant climate impact as well, because you are disturbing the territory. Definitely what's the most best way is to have our rooftop is vacant, how exactly we can optimize it. But problem kya aa rahi hai? What are the problems? So when we started to research about the things, then we found out that if you want to go solar, there is no standard process. You have to talk to 9 vendors, 8 vendors, get 9 quotations. You have to figure out ki, acha, which is better. And even vendor will ask you kaun sa brand chahiye. Vendor will not talk to you and say कि आपको Topcon चाहिए, bifacial चाहिए, mono PRC चाहिए, आपको क्या? So there is a lot of hassle free, and the whole solar thing is a composite product. So we thought how exactly we can simplify it. Then we come up with this platform called www.suryasangam.com. Still, I think I could have shown. I think you can go to this platform. At least what this platform does, in this solar business, they feel pricing is a trade secret, right? If I will just decide pricing looking at your paying power based on that paying capacity, I will decide price and quote it. But here you can get pricing aspect from up to 12 kilowatt from all the aspects. At least if you don't buy in from here, at least it can help you make decision. There is a tool called AI optimized SuryCalc tool, which assess your rooftop. So we are assessing Google APIs to assess your rooftop. And based on that, we are recommending based on your sunlight hours and the electricity consumption, how much of solar requirement actually you have. And based on that, you can make the purchase. So currently we are focusing on the Delhi NCR region, and we have already installed over 30 households at this point of time. And also we have done MOUs with many district administration, because there are vendors. If we talk about the particular Ghaziabad alone, so there are 76 vendors, right? But virtually if you look at the target, PM Suryaghar scheme is there, which is targeting 1 crore households. Up till now in Ghaziabad, 63,000 is target, but in 1.5 years we could achieve only 3,000. And there are 76 vendors. Problem is, this whole thing needs a very smooth interface. We needed to solve the problem of net metering also. So we created with the government Surya Sangam Samadhan portal, which is helping in tracking and the process so that we can complete the whole installation process in 15 days. So in a way, we are just like, we have been a problem solver. So if I talk about entrepreneurship in a bit, right? So there is definitely a business sense. You have to learn a lot about how does valuation works, how does these equity things work, how exactly you can inspire people to bring in. If I talk about, you can see the person next to me, he joined me as an intern. Now he's our co-founder. So virtually, it's like, because it's been co-created, right? It's like he feels that sentiment, he feels that emotion. Definitely, there are a lot of challenging ways. The ma'am also said, right? It's all about consistency and charai veti. You have to keep on moving. Sometimes it happens, you feel like, yeah, you are getting lost, you are getting into a too big thing, right? So that's the challenge, and you have to upskill things. Now AI is there. A lot of things that I can't afford a very costly chartered accountant at this point of time. I can't afford good business advice, but I think a lot of sense AI makes these days, right? So sometimes, so I will just cut it short. I will just share ki bring that attitude of thinking a solution oriented, right? Think solution oriented, what solutions you can bring it. There are ample opportunities out there, and this whole green economy is like a great opportunity for you. Go ahead, think, and find out what exactly you are passionate about, what exactly you can contribute. You are really going to enjoy working in this space. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So this was a really good insight into two things, apart from all the other great things he's doing and all the awards he's won. One, how do you solve a problem that can create a solution at scale? And how do you actually help the government actually actualize a scheme that's not working? So that's a solution developed by the youth. And the second thing that I would like to highlight is, and I think all of you young people might resonate, there's a lot of hierarchy in Indian culture. And the hierarchy, and I think the youth is already born at the CEO level. They're all already presidents of all organizations, and I love that energy. And I think what the journey of an intern to co-founder, it is possible through entrepreneurship. It is totally possible. And so, keep dreaming. And this was a great example of that. My next speaker is Manik Dhingra, who is the co-founder of Shunya Environmental Solutions. Manik Dhingra is and Evia Environmental Service Foundation. Shunya implements market-based solutions to enable diversion of waste from landfills and reclamation of landfills, while EYWA focuses on empathetic leadership development for the waste management sector. The shared objective of these organizations is to maximize public and ecological health outcomes while managing waste responsibly. Manik, please. If I could just request you to...
So hello, sorry you've been listening to one speaker after the other, so I'm another one. That's good to know. My name is Manik. I'm a part of a company called Shunya. I'll not bore you with my work, but I hope you're more intimate with the problem statement we are working with by the end of these 5 minutes. I really like our planet. These landfills are from across the 7 continents. When I was putting this slide together, I thought when I'll type in Antarctica landfill, I'd hopefully find a pristine environment photo. But bang in the center is a small little landfill we've created even in Antarctica. So at Shunya, what we are essentially trying to do is to work with low economic value waste materials and convert them into fuel. And presently that's called RDF. So we make fuel out of incinerable, non-recyclable waste, convert it into fuel, which is used by cement industries, and it replaces coal and pet coke as a fuel for them. So at one level, your landfills are getting unburdened. At the other end, we are reducing the consumption of coal and pet coke by using waste. I'll move on to the next slide. So I've not put names because we don't know her name probably, at least most of us would not know. She's Poonam Bir Kasturi. We should all look up a company called Daily Dump. So she's with a community composter which she built, and she was an NID grad. She took in about 10 years trying to build a wonderful product for India. She made the product open source. There are podcasts and things about her work. We should all look her up. So I thought more important than my journey is that for us to be introduced to these people who've already been doing this work. So, you know, we don't really have to begin at zero. We can actually build on the shoulders of others. And I'm going to introduce you to two more people, like Poonam Bir Kasturi, who was a lifelong learner. She was also on Shark Tank. The next person is Nalini. She runs an organization called Hasiru Dala in Bangalore. And 25,000 waste workers are connected to that organization. And while there is an ecological aspect to the work, to the waste management work, there's also a very strong livelihood aspect to this work, and which Hasiru Dala has done beautifully. They're trying to create micro-entrepreneurs out of waste workers. I know one such story wherein there was a waste worker who doesn't know how to read or write. Today, she's a micro-entrepreneur and she pays out salaries for 79 or 89 individuals. And she still can't read or write. But she has a team of accountants and chartered accountants, and she does her taxes, and she's built this beautiful business. And Hasiru Dala has enabled that. Moving on to the next person, I really admire her work. So, you know, like in physics, there are theoretical physicists, and then there are the practitioners. So I think Rajni's work is more on the end of the theoretical physics bit when we talk about waste management. She runs a podcast called Ahimsa Conversations, which we could all give a listen to. She's written beautiful award-winning books. She talks about the idea of trusteeship. She talks about using capital and markets as a force of good. So she's someone we should definitely check out her work. And she wrote a book called Bapu Kuti, which also inspired the film Swades. So, you know, that's that little Bollywood masala bit about her work for you to get more curious. Lastly, like just this, because I'm on 4:10, I have 50 seconds. I'm sharing this beautiful picture of our country. And I'm also pointing out the major problem statement that we have today, and I'm sharing that. We have about 15 agroclimatic zones, right? And all of us have been calling, like, I'm like a waste management person, and there's wet waste and this and that. I would really request all of you to think about wet waste management more meaningfully and think about it as more like a soil enrichment business. Because right now, what we are not able to do in our landfills, or at least in our waste management cycles, we are not able to get wet waste back to the soil. So at one level, our soils are losing fertility, and at the other end, you know, there's leachate and there's water contamination because of our landfills. So how do we actually get the wet waste to the soil is the journey we have to crack. And I'm not asking for everybody to take the responsibility of their city or even their neighborhood, but if you could just start this at a personal level as well. And I know a lot of people feel, if I do this at home, it doesn't mean the system will change. But I sincerely believe it's much more like a ritual, right? So even if you're doing it at your home, you get better at composting on your own. Maybe you'll be able to do it for 10 more residents in your area. You can move on to a community level. You can move on to a city level. So just doing this little ritual of composting at home could be very meditative, could get you back into the rhythm of our natural cycles. So that is the larger invitation. I'm already over time, and I can speak about.
Manik, if you can just talk about Shunya and what Shunya does.
Sure. Okay, I'll do that. Yeah, I have a bit of a financing background as well, and I have 4 wonderful co-founders at Shunya. So today, we have about 3 facilities, and we work with about 20 urban local bodies across the country. One of the flagship projects which I really like is 1,000 ton per day RDF processing plant, which is similar in scale to the quantity what Delhi generates. So hopefully within the next 3 years, Shunya with its competencies will be able to do a 10,000 ton per day quantity management of RDF, which means we'll be able to manage waste similar to the scale of 10 Delhis. And I mean, that's a very real possibility for us going forward. And while we are solving for that, we still need help with wet waste, so I'll keep coming back to that. And
what are you doing in the Northeast?
Oh, yeah, so not just in the Northeast, actually, we are working with the Himachal government as well with their waste policy. I have a little bit of public policy background as well. We are looking at the Himalayan region as a continuum. So right from Nepal to the Northeast, to Himachal and Uttarakhand, because bioregions don't discriminate between boundaries. So we are trying to see in an integrated way, how can we have a meaningful wet waste management system in this entire fragile region. Okay, and the last sharing would just be, and the invitation would be like, just be a little obnoxious and courageous, right, when we're doing this work, and that is the invitation to everybody. And by obnoxious, I mean we have to think of, like we have Mr. Sarabhai's name here, of the Homi Babas and the Vikram Sarabhais, you know, who built an ISRO out in the 60s. And I think solving for wet waste management is not as difficult a challenge. So if we really put in our best efforts, we should be able to do something about it within the next decade. And I'm happy to share more with anyone who's more interested in the sector. Please feel free to write to me. Please feel free to come to our project locations or speak to any one of my 50 or 60 team members right now. Yeah. So thank you. I'm 3 minutes over. I'm sorry.
You did great, Manik. We are going to have networking tea, so he'll be around, and please ask your questions about what it means to be really doing it in the private sector, and to be a founder of an environmental solutions company. My next speaker, I'm really, really excited to also introduce Prerna Prasad, who is the founder of EcoPlore. As I was going with my previous theme, it doesn't matter whether you studied science, arts, or commerce, whether you're a scientist or you're a graphic designer. What matters is what you want to do. And Prerna is a fantastic example of this. After working for more than 8 years in prominent English news channels like CNN, IBN, and India Today, Prerna chose the path of entrepreneurship, combining her love for travel and vision to create an environmental impact. She founded EcoPlore. Prerna is also the curator of Van Bhoj, a mud house based in Delhi NCR. Van Bhoj was built by architect Revati and Vasant Kamath and is a showcase of an ideal sustainable living. Prerna aims to invest all her income generated from EcoPlore in developing a forest and returning it back to nature. Prerna, please.
Okay. Hello, everybody. I want to start my session by asking a question from the audience that, has anybody has the experience of living in a mud house or maybe going to a mud house for a holiday? Anybody here? Yes. One of you, we don't have time. Anybody? Yeah, you raised your hand first. तो वहाँ रहने में और एक सीमेंट के अपार्टमेंट या घर में रहने में कोई डिफरेंस आपको एक्सपीरियंस हुआ?
बहुत डिफरेंस होता है। जब मतलब मैं जब अपना घर पुराना वाला घर छोड़ के मिट्टी घर में मतलब मिट्टी घर छोड़ के अपने नए घर में आ गया था, तो गर्मी के दिनों में जब गर्मी बेतहासा होती थी तो किसी से बर्दाश्त नहीं होती थी। सब उसी मिट्टी के घर में जाके बिना पंखे के बिना कूलर के सब पंखा छोड़ के उसमें जाके बैठते थे, क्योंकि उसमें बहुत ठंडा होता था, बहुत शांति सा फील होता था, उसकी महक जो है वो बड़ी अच्छी लगती थी। तो हाँ, उसका अलग फीलिंग होता था
जी। So that is what we are doing at EcoPlore. I started as a sustainable tourism company. We registered EcoPlore in 2016. So we have more than 1,500 eco-friendly hotels across India. And how do we define an eco-friendly hotel? Because as a layman, it's very difficult to say कि अच्छा ये hotel eco-friendly है, ये नहीं है. So there were two criteria which we came up with after visiting the different geographies of our country. One was that the construction of the hotel has to be made of local architecture. So the building of the hotel has to be made of either mud, wood, bamboo, stone, or any other local material. The other important factor was the trees. So we cannot emit trees if we are talking about sustainability. So all the hotels, the 1,500 hotels we have across India, they have at least 30% trees inside their campus. So local construction plus 30% campus having trees and not the lawns is the mandate. And then any property which actually meets these two criteria, they by default have rainwater harvesting, composting, waste management, grey water treatment, solar panels, and all the other sustainable measures. That is what I started in 2016. In 2022, we actually have a private sustainability museum, which is a mud house in Delhi NCR. It is located in Surajkund, Faridabad, around 30 minutes from where we are right now. And the interesting part about that mud house is that it's a 30-year-old structure. It was built by architect Revti and Vasant Kamath, who are pioneers in sustainable and mud architecture. And that house, we have a forest, like it's a 2-acre area, and we have almost 90% of our land is covered with forest. Initially, it was a mining area where mining was done 30 years back, and Supreme Court had put a ban on mining, and then the architects bought it, and today it's a thriving biodiverse forest. I'm just talking about a place which is 30 minutes from the central Delhi, and we have nilgai, we have mongoose, peacocks, porcupines, owls, bats, fireflies, butterflies, hornbills, woodpeckers, and a lot of other biodiversity, a lot of other birds and insects, which I don't know yet. And that place, like, it's an ideal example of sustainable living. 80% of the construction material of the mud house has been taken from the campus, so going as local as that. Then we have grey water treatment, where we use natural bacteria, anaerobic bacteria, to convert the kitchen and the washroom waste into compost and release the fresh water into the forest for irrigation. Then we have rainwater harvesting without using any modern technology, just creating channels and collecting the water at one place, which then recharges the ground. And we drink the water from the tap. So in Delhi, like, which is known for its pollution, I'm very proud to say that we have a place where you can actually drink the water directly from the ground. So yeah, that is what is about EcoPlore. I have a video, but I think we are short of time. We can play the video. So I shared it with the team.
जब शहरों में पड़ रही हो भीषण गर्मी, प्रदूषण और शोर की मार, जब हम हो चुके हों प्रकृति और अपनी संस्कृति से कोसों दूर, ऐसे में कोई यदि आपका हाथ थामकर आपको ले चले उसी प्रकृति की गोद में, जहाँ सिर्फ सुहाना मौसम ही नहीं बल्कि एक शांति और ताजगी से भरपूर अनुभव कर रहा हो आपका इंतजार, जहाँ चिड़ियों की चहचहाहट और बहते झरनों का संगीत करे आपका स्वागत, और जहाँ ताज़ा स्वादिष्ट खाने की महक आपकी सोई हुई भूख जगा दे, तो शायद आप सोचेंगे किसी और लोग की बात हो रही होगी। और अगर हम आपसे कहें कि किसी और लोग या देश की नहीं, बल्कि हमारे भारतवर्ष के कुछ छुपे हुए हीरो की बात कर रहे हैं, तो आप हैरान मत होइए। इकोप्लोर ने खोज निकाले हैं ऐसे ही कुछ नायाब हीरे, जो आपको न केवल अपने देश की प्राकृतिक खूबसूरती और संस्कृति से अवगत कराते हैं, बल्कि इस बात का भी पूरा ख्याल रखते हैं कि इस प्राकृतिक विविधता पर कोई आंच ना आने पाए। साथ ही जो प्रकृति को सहेजते हुए इस बात का भी पूरा ध्यान रखते हैं कि आपकी छुट्टियों के शानदार अनुभव में कोई खलल ना आए। और आप इस सौंदर्य को कैसे अनुभव कर सकते हैं, जानने के लिए लॉग ऑन करें www.ecoplore.com।
So anybody questions if you have time?
Networking tea. So we will take questions in the networking tea. Thank you so much for your patience. There were just so many wonderful stories that came up as I started to curate this session, and I just needed to give everybody a space. We've got our next speaker here is Mohammed Suhail. He is the founder and CEO of Athar Packaging Solutions, which is a purpose-driven entrepreneur turning waste into opportunity. Inspired during COVID, he transformed industrial plastic and agri-waste into sustainable, compostable packaging that rivals industrial plastic and, that rivals plastics in price and performance. Very important to get the value proposition right. From humble beginnings, Suhail has recycled 300 plus tons of waste, reduced 1800 plus tons of carbon emissions, and served 700 plus customers while generating 2 plus crores in revenue in just 1 year. His journey, recognized by awards from MSME as a champion of cause and Tata Social Entrepreneurship Champion, reflects resilience, vision, and a commitment to solving real-world problems. Suhail's mission is to make sustainable packaging affordable for all and inspire youth to see challenges as opportunities.
Thank you so much, Mobius Foundation, for inviting me for this wonderful session. आपने इतना heavy introduction दिया मेरा कि मुझे थोड़ा सा वहाँ से आते में भारी सा लग रहा था. I was feeling कि मैं क्या कर पाऊँगा. So before starting my session, I would like to ask one question. How many of you used plastic in last 24 hours? Hand raise करिए. Almost 90% से ज़्यादा लोगों ने. So how many of you think जो प्लास्टिक 90% से 95% से ज़्यादा लोग यूज़ कर पा रहे हैं, एनी हाउ कितना भी सोशल कॉज पे वो काम करते हो, एनी हाउ उनकी लाइफ में वो आ जाता है, उसको हम ईजिली ख़त्म कर देंगे? नॉट पॉसिबल. वो एक ऐसा इकोसिस्टम क्रिएट कर चुका है जो आज की डेट में एक जब बच्चा पैदा होता है उसकी माँ को टच करने से पहले वो प्लास्टिक उसे टच करता है, क्योंकि डॉक्टर्स जो ग्लव्स पहनते हैं वो बच्चे को पकड़ते हैं, वो क्या होता है? एक तरीके का प्लास्टिक. यू कैन नॉट स्टॉप इट. और आप उस इकोसिस्टम को तो ख़त्म नहीं कर सकते. वट यू कैन डू इज़ यू कैन रीबिल्ड, यू कैन रिसाइकल एंड यू कैन रीयूज़. दैट इज़ द बेस्ट सॉल्यूशन एज ऑफ नाउ. So for that thought, I started my organization called Athar Packaging Solution. I spend almost my average life 20% time in social development sector, जहाँ पे मैंने गवर्नमेंट के साथ, प्राइवेट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में, ग्रास रूट लेवल पे, वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट, एजुकेशन, हेल्थ में काफ़ी सारे डोमेन्स में काम करा. देन सडनली एक बड़ा सा इवेंट हुआ पूरे वर्ल्ड में सभी लोगों के साथ, दैट इज़ कॉल्ड कोविड. सो इन दी कोविड टाइम मुझे 10 मिनट का मौका मिला अपने घर से बाहर जाने का, एंड आई सो अ ह्यूज वेस्ट. ऑलमोस्ट 4 फुट हाइट था उसका विद इन 30 डेज़ में इतना हाइट था उसका हाईवे के पास वाले रोड पे. एंड उसमें 2 तरीके का प्लास्टिक वेस्ट था. दैट वन इज़ प्लास्टिक एंड सेकेंड वन इज़ द फ्रूट एंड वेजिटेबल वेस्ट. सो वी स्टार्ट कंडक्टिंग अ रिसर्च कि हम इसको कैसे बिल्ड कर सकते हैं, इस पर क्या काम कर सकते हैं. एंड वी क्रिएट आफ्टर अ रिसर्च वी डेवलप अ प्रोडक्ट जिसमें हमने ऑलमोस्ट 60,000 रुपीज़ खर्च करा. एंड कैन यू इमेजिन वो कितने में सेल हुआ होगा? एनी गेस? सॉरी? वाओ. ओनली वन प्रोडक्ट वी क्रिएट. वेस्ट से लगभग 50,000 रुपीज़ स्पेंड करके हमने कुछ प्रोडक्ट बनाया 2 kg के आसपास, जिसका सेल हुआ 500 रुपीज़ में. 60,000 स्पेंड करके. देन आई वेंट टू वन ऑफ द बिगेस्ट कंपनी कॉल, मतलब MNC कंपनी थी, एंड वी मेट द डायरेक्टर. हमने बोला कि हम आपके लिए रिसाइकल एंड इको फ्रेंडली पैकेजिंग बनाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, वुड यू लाइक टू परचेज? एंड ही सेड, व्हाट वाज द स्टेटमेंट? मेरा CSR का बजट ख़त्म हो गया. देन आई रियलाइज मैं कितना भी अच्छा सॉल्यूशन बना लूँ, अगर मैं उसको अफोर्डेबल नहीं बनाऊंगा तो इंडिया की 80% पॉपुलेशन जो उसको यूज़ करने वाली है वो वहाँ तक नहीं पहुँचेगा. सो वी स्टार्ट वर्किंग ऑन दी रिसर्च एंड वी आइडेंटिफाई के लैंडफिल्स में बहुत सारा वेस्ट जाता है, लेकिन ये आता कहाँ से? इंडस्ट्रीज से. सो लेट्स स्टार्ट वर्किंग विद द इंडस्ट्रीज. सो हमने लैंडफिल्स वाले रिसाइकल वेस्ट प्लास्टिक पे काम नहीं करा. हमने इंडस्ट्रीज से जितना भी, आप जानते हैं क्या कि जितना भी प्लास्टिक वेस्ट जनरेट होता है उसमें से 15 से 20% प्लास्टिक इंडस्ट्रीज खुद जनरेट करती हैं ड्यूरिंग द टाइम ऑफ प्रोडक्शन. यानी 100 किलो प्लास्टिक बनते में 20 किलो इंडस्ट्रीज जनरेट करती हैं और वो उसको फेंक देती हैं लैंडफिल्स में या फिर रिवर्स में. सो वी कलेक्ट दैट वेस्ट फ्रॉम इंडस्ट्रीज and we convert that waste into a 12 different types of packaging solution which we are providing. That's how we build the organization. And right now if I talk about a journey, last 2 years में थोड़ा सा डेटा में करेक्शन है, सॉरी मैम, थोड़ा डेटा में करेक्शन है. सो 3000 टन वेस्ट प्लास्टिक को हमने 2 years में रिसाइकल करा. एंड अगर हम कार्बन एमिशन की बात करें तो 1800 टन ऑफ कार्बन एमिशन को हमने रिड्यूस करा और आज की डेट में 60 सिटीज़ में हमारा प्रोडक्ट सेल होता है एंड 70,000 लोग हर महीने हमारे प्रोडक्ट को एक्सपीरियंस करते हैं ऑल ओवर द कंट्री. सो दैट्स हाउ वी बिल्ड द सॉल्यूशन. एंड रिवेन्यू की बात करें तो यस, इट वाज लास्ट 2 year मोर देन 3 CR. कैन यू इमेजिन? सो हाउ मेनी यूनिकॉर्न्स वी हैव इन द कंट्री? एंड उनमें से कितने प्रॉफिटेबल हैं? 10. और आफ्टर अ लॉन्ग ईयर वी आर द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. मैं आपको श्योर कह रहा हूँ कि अगर आप वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट डोमेन में जाते हैं, सो इन आवर फर्स्ट ईयर वी आर एट दी 9% ऑफ नेट 9% ऑफ प्रॉफिट फर्स्ट ईयर में. 3 करोड़ का 9% कितना हुआ? 27 लाख रुपए आपके पास सरप्लस है. सो दैट्स हाउ वी बिल्ड द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. एंड लाइक इट इज़ नॉट इनफ. लाइक इफ आई वांट टू शेयर द मार्केट ऑफ वेस्ट, सो इमेजिन कितना बड़ा मार्केट है. ओनली रिसाइकलिंग प्लास्टिक से पैकेजिंग अगर बनाते हो या प्लास्टिक को रिसाइकल करके कुछ प्रोडक्ट बनाते हो, दैट मार्केट इज मोर देन 300 बिलियन. 300 बिलियन. एंड इंडिया का सर्कुलर पैकेजिंग का, रिसाइकल पैकेजिंग का मार्केट इज 12 बिलियन. अगर आप उसका 0.0012% भी मार्केट कैप्चर करते हो इन नेक्स्ट ईयर, इट इज़ अराउंड 20 CR. 20 CR you can generate the revenue from the waste. So that's how we are visioning our organization. And if I talk about the rewards, like MSME awarded us as a champion of cause. And yeah, yes, 2 year की journey में we spent too much time on social media and we gained 50,000 plus followers on social media. आज की डेट में इंस्टाग्राम से ही हमें 5 लाख का बिजनेस आ जाता है. नहीं, हम वीडियो नहीं बनाते, हम प्रोडक्ट का जो है वीडियो शेयर करते हैं, कुछ इनोवेशन शेयर करते हैं. अफोर्डेबल पैकेजिंग जो है वो इम्पोर्टेंट है, वही हमारा फोकस रहता है. दैट एक्चुअली अट्रैक्ट दी टायर 2 सिटी एंटरप्रेन्योर टू गेट द पैकेजिंग. सो दैट्स हाउ वी बिल्ड द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. बट इट इज़ नॉट इनफ. वी आर जस्ट आई विल टेक 30 seconds. सो जब लास्ट 2 years की जर्नी में हम काम कर रहे थे तो वी स्टार्ट अ फेलोशिप कॉल वेस्ट वॉरियर फेलोशिप. सो आई वॉज इन द डिज़ाइनिंग टीम इन, मतलब मेरा लगभग 5 साल का एक्सपीरियंस है गांधी फेलोशिप डिज़ाइन करने का. मैं उस सेंट्रल टीम में था, तो आई नो हाउ टू इनकरेज यूथ के कैसे वो सॉल्यूशन ड्रिवन बने. सो वी हायर 2 वेस्ट वॉरियर फेलोज़. उन वेस्ट वॉरियर फेलोज़ के साथ हमने दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी के कुछ साइंटिस्ट के साथ कोलैबोरेट करा. एंड जो सेकेंड वेस्ट मैंने देखा था, दैट इज़ कॉल्ड फ्रूट वेस्ट. सो उस फ्रूट वेस्ट से हमने वेस्ट वॉरियर के साथ मिलके कुछ अधेसिव बनाया. एंड वी हैव डन ऑलमोस्ट 50 टाइप्स ऑफ डिफरेंट रिसर्च. एंड उससे बहुत अमेजिंग रिजल्ट निकल कर आए. वन ऑफ द बिगेस्ट रिजल्ट इज़ हमारे अधेसिव ने नेचुरल तरीके से प्लास्टिक को 12% डिकम्पोज कर दिया विद इन 360 days. सो अगर वी आर वर्किंग ऑन दैट रिसर्च, and we are still identifying कि उसने ऐसा क्या करा. So right now the adhesive which we are using to laminate, to coat, to MLP process for the to develop our product, उस वे हमारे प्रोडक्ट को आप ज़मीन में गाड़ देंगे तो 360 डेज बाद आप उसे निकालेंगे 12% वो डिकम्पोज हो जाएगा. सो वी आर इन अ मिशन के एंड वी गोट अ होप कि शायद ये अधेसिव हमें हेल्प करे प्लास्टिक को नेक्स्ट 5 to 10 ईयर्स में 80% एटलीस्ट हम पहुंच पाएँ डिकम्पोज करने में, जो 502 ईयर्स और 300 ईयर्स लेता है डिकम्पोज होने में. सो दैट्स ऑल अबाउट अथर इन अवर जर्नी.
पर्सनल जर्नी.
अच्छा,
कि कहाँ से है, कितना पढ़े हैं, आपके पेरेंट्स कितना पढ़े हैं, थोड़ा बताइए.
तो आई लिव इन ओल्ड दिल्ली, चांदनी चौक. चांदनी चौक के लोग एटीट्यूड उनका अपने ही घमंड में रहने वाले, अपनी ही ईगो में रहने वाले. मुझे लगता था कि चांदनी चौक जो है ना वही हमारी दुनिया है. 3 किलोमीटर के एरिया में ही पूरा वर्ल्ड ख़त्म हो जाता है. सो इन 2014 आई गोट अ चांस. वन ऑफ माई फ्रेंड आस्क मी कि चल यार एक सोशल कॉज के लिए काम है, इनिशिएटिव है, चलते हैं. सो वी विजिट वन स्लम जहाँ पे मैंने हमें एक सर्वे करना था फॉर दी वुमेंस जो डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस का शिकार होती हैं, है ना. शिकार बोलेंगे इसे, वो नहीं बोलेंगे कि वो उससे जूझती हैं, तो शिकार होती हैं. तो आई गेट टू नो कि यार चांदनी चौक पूरी दुनिया नहीं है, बहुत बड़ी दुनिया है. So that's how I started working with the women empowerment, and I spent almost 12 years in the social development sector, जहाँ पे मैंने grassroots level organization से start करा, big organizations में काम करा like Save the Children, ActionAid. My recent or last organization was Piramal Foundation, where I worked as a government consultant, और वहाँ पे 5 years मैंने 6 years काम करा. 6 ईयर के बाद आई लेफ्ट दैट जॉब. जो मेरा पीएफ था उससे मैंने उसे विड्रॉ करके उससे अपनी इस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को स्टार्ट करा, और ये बूस्ट ट्रैप है. अभी तक हमें सिंगल फंड नहीं मिला है, एंड वी आर इन द प्रॉफिट. दैट्स इट. एंड जस्ट आई वांट टू शेयर 3 थिंग्स विथ यू ऑल जो मेरी एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप की जर्नी में मैंने सीखा. फर्स्ट, डोंट फॉल इन लव विथ योर सॉल्यूशन, फॉल इन लव विथ द प्रॉब्लम. हम यही प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करना चाहते थे कि प्लास्टिक वेस्ट को कैसे सॉल्व करें. सॉल्यूशन इट विल बी बिल्ड बेस्ड ऑन द टाइम, बेस्ड ऑन द रिसर्च, और जो भी आपकी फाइंडिंग्स होती हैं, तो सॉल्यूशन बिल्ड होता है. अगर फेसबुक का फर्स्ट पिच देखोगे और आज का पिच देखोगे, ह्यूज डिफरेंस है उनके सॉल्यूशन में, बट प्रॉब्लम वही है. सेकेंड थिंग, आई राइट 3 points. सेकेंड इज थोड़ा विजन जो है ना अपना बना के चलो. आई गोट अ ऑफर फ्रॉम वन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. तो वी थॉट कि हम 3 चीज़ों पे कभी 3 कंपनीज को कभी भी पैकेजिंग नहीं देंगे जो डुप्लीकेट मटेरियल बनाते हैं, सेकंड जो ड्रग्स बनाते हैं, या फिर कोई तंबाकू बनाता है, थर्ड. सो वी गोट अ ऑफर वन ऑफ द बिगेस्ट कंपनी ऑफ द कंट्री जो तंबाकू बनाती है, एंड दे गिव अस 32 लाख रुपीज़ ऑर्डर, एंड आई डिनाइड कि हम नहीं लेंगे, बिकॉज इट इज़ नॉट अलाइन विथ आवर वैल्यूज़. रेवेन्यू तो हो जाएगा, बट इट इज़ नॉट अलाइन विथ आवर वैल्यूज़, और वो विजन से आती हैं. सो यू हैव टू डिज़ाइन एंड थिंक कि हमारा विजन कैसा होना चाहिए, व्हाट इज़ योर विजन, पर्पस. सो दैट यू हैव टू फोकस. एंड द थर्ड वन इज़ द कंप्लाइंस पार्ट, बिकॉज वंस यू आर एंटरिंग इन द इन्वायरमेंट रिलेटेड इशूज़ और सस्टेनेबिलिटी, तो सबसे ज़्यादा आपको गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से लव लेटर आएंगे. तो उन लव लेटर्स को हैंडल करने के लिए इट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू बी प्रिपेयर फ्रॉम फर्स्ट डे, नॉट फर्स्ट डे, फ्रॉम 0 डे, कि आप कंप्लाइंस को पूरे करते हुए चलो. अदरवाइज इट विल बिकम अ नॉट अ पेन, नाइटमेयर, वन ऑफ द बिगेस्ट नाइटमेयर यू सी इन योर लाइफ. सो दैट्स ऑल फ्रॉम माई साइड. थैंक यू सो मच.
Totally bootstrapped, profitable business where every second startup founder is only asking for funding. This is really something to look at. And, of course, what he's saying and doing can make such a huge difference. It gives me great pleasure, and I am so thankful that Pratishta agreed to do this. When I reached out to her, I gave her a 20-minute pitch to join this session. Ms. Pratishta Kumari is one of Mobius's own. She's currently working as a research associate at Mobius Foundation. She is a chemist and a research scholar at IIT Delhi. She's a Commonwealth scholar, has visited Imperial College London. She's the board member of the India Youth Climate Network and recipient of Global Young Leaders Fellowship. She's a sustainability advocate, and her work focuses on bio-based materials, life cycle assessment, and circular economy. She has also presented at international platforms, including the United Nations Climate Change Conference, COP28, and has contributed on green materials and youth-led climate solutions. Pratishta, please come and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, everyone. First of all, thank you, Priyanka ma'am, for inviting me here. And first of all, I would like to tell you about my journey till now and my experiences. So I started with doing chemistry as the core subject, and I was very much interested how things work and how chemistry is, and ended up doing masters in chemistry from IIT Delhi. Then I thought of working on the ground, and I was very much worried, like, about the plastic pollution. So, you know, we see plastic waste all around us, and it has very many detrimental problems that are associated with it. As told by him that the problems associated with plastic, I decided to do a PhD, and I joined in 2019 and started working on solution for sustainable packaging. First thing that came up was biomass, which can be utilized for packaging applications. So cellulose, which is there in biomass, can be utilized for paper manufacturing, but the byproduct, which is lignin, is left as a waste product or is burnt in the industries for energy. So lignin has like very unique properties, including antioxidant, antibacterial properties, and it is still not very much utilized properly. Keeping that in mind and taking my journey of research in lignin, I worked on fabrication of films using lignin, and I have made biodegradable films using lignin and a biodegradable polymer. And so this is like a very main sector which is there, and you have, you know, many solutions out there in the market for plastic packaging alternatives, and this is one of them, but it is biodegradable. It has also antioxidant and antimicrobial properties. Apart from that, these films are like 20-30 microns, and as we know that single-use plastic is banned, which is less than 50 microns. These can be a very good alternative for single-use plastics. After this, like in between my PhD, I also worked with an organization called Indian Youth Climate Network, and there I worked on I worked with different people from academics, from policy, students from various universities, colleges. So we started with it started with an idea that how we can reuse paper boards. So we know paper boards are used in our day-to-day lives, and we thought of how to reuse it and increase its reuse. And then I entered into Indian Youth Climate Network, and we did a workshop called Agents of Change with GIZ, where we had people from different backgrounds, and we talked about circular economy and resource efficiency. IYCN also is collaborating with Climate Reality right now on Youth for COP, and we have been sending delegates to COP and Bonn conferences over the past few years. I was part of COP28, and I went to Dubai, and it is so overwhelming sometimes because, there is a lot going on over there. And I also saw that the voices of youth is still very less. So we need more people to come up and join organizations like Youngo, or and be part of LCOIs, and go to and have representation at Bonn and COPs. So this has been my journey till now, and then I chose to be part of Mobius Foundation. So they have they work on education as well as environment, and I am like passionate about both of these sectors. Right now, I'm working on EPR, which is Extended Producer's Responsibility with Dr. Sudhir, and this is a project with Niti Aayog, and we are working on how to improve EPR for different sectors like tire waste, lithium-ion batteries, plastic waste. So EPR is basically how to improve, how to increase the responsibility of the producer itself, that the product is not just disposed of, it is recycled and reused and remanufactured. Okay, so this was my journey till now. I would like to ask you guys a question. Like, we have been talking about green since yesterday. How do you find out if a product is green? Or how do you think we can find out if anything given to you is green or not? Or not like, what is the step? Anyone? Okay, but that would come when the product is at the end of its cycle, right?
There are some products where there are icons written as reuse and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'll go a bit technical.
Recently, what I have seen, DS Group, they are making a brand called Catch. They have started with the logo of green. This is the latest one which I have seen.
So basically, you have
Offsetting carbon. Offsetting carbon. I think they are trying to buy carbon credits because they are not able to reduce the carbon. Otherwise, the business will, wipe out. So when they buy, so they are doing their responsibility towards that. So I think they get a certificate of green.
So basically, there's a concept called eco-labeling, but there is still not like the standards for it right now. But if I talk in the technical terms, if you talk about a green product, the technical people or the research team or the people working in that space will know a concept called life cycle assessment. So basically, you have to evaluate a product starting from its from cradle to grave. That means extraction of raw materials till its disposal. Or if you are making a circular product, then cradle to cradle. So then you'll have to calculate all the emissions associated with it, starting from the mining part to the manufacturing part, transportation, usage, disposal, and then remanufacturing. So I think more people should know about the concept of life cycle assessment, and you can build up your skills for that. You can learn LCA, you can do EI, environmental impact assessments, you can do carbon footprinting, carbon auditing. So these are the new avenues that are opened for people in the environment space and who think you can join these sectors and have a good career. Okay, second question. First, what is the first thing that you think is important for circularity?
Mindset of a people.
And what it should be?
It should be from the process, from the moment they decide we have to create this product, they should think how we can circulate it.
Okay, so I'll say the first step is to refuse. So first thing is responsible consumption and production. That is the first step for circularity. Then we talk about recycling, which is the last resort. So
in between you have repair, remanufacturing, refurbishing, and that is up to us that you have to focus on other aspects as well. If I ask you if you have to buy a refurbished laptop or a phone, how many of you would prefer? Like a very less number, right? And if I told you that you have to get your torn clothes mended out from a tailor, how many of you would go out and do it? So again, like you. That's really good, sir.
It also said about that in your birthday wishes.
So yeah, I think first step is to refuse, and then to go for options which are more circular, which should be the first step when you go out and see what is your responsibility for the environment. Okay, I'll take 1 minute just. So at the end, I would like to tell you that there are many opportunities around there, be it in the government space, be it as an ESG professional, as an LC expert, carbon footprinting, or ideas like refilling or repairing. So you'll have many things to do when you think that you have to do something. It comes from passion and also thinking in circular aspects. Last thing I would like to say is green jobs are not scarce. You will have many opportunities. These are the future jobs, and they are the mainstream jobs. Secondly, all jobs can be transitioned into a green job. Just stick to sustainable practices. And the third thing is your individual responsibility towards environment. So, mission life. You have to think about what you have to do for the environment and just do the needful. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Pratishta. We have our last speaker in this segment. So, you've heard from artists and creative people, to hardcore scientists, to entrepreneurs, to researchers, academicians, marketing people and news anchors who've suddenly become ecopreneurs. So it's an absolutely fascinating journey. These are real people who are actually doing. They are not teaching, they are doing. They sometimes say teachers are very, very important. But the doers are also to be celebrated. Let's talk a little bit about the traditional jobs. We've done a lot of non-traditional ones, so many people are hearing advice on बड़े होके क्या बनना है, doctor बनोगे, engineer बनोगे, CA करोगे. So let's talk about the CA people, commerce stream CA, finance people. So how long CA has been in India, and how many CAs there are in India, and how many CSs are in India? It is a crowded space. But what else is happening is that the government has mandated CSR spending, mandated penalties on polluters, and number of other policies and mandates. And companies are grappling with how do they deal with all of that regulation. As Suhail said, सबसे पहले आपको love letter government से आएंगे. So if you are deciding to pursue a path like CA, how do you distinguish yourself in a very crowded market? Why don't you do ESG, environmental, social, and governance, CSR? A lot of institutes are giving certificates in that area. So maybe, and so much online courses are available, where you can start to learn about this, and it'll help you distinguish yourself in a crowded market. So for that, I have my last speaker in this section, Kshitij Jha, who is focused on climate finance and ESG. Kshitij, if you could come in if you are here.
Perfect. I'm glad we have less time now. I was not much prepared for this. And don't mind if I fumble. I was sitting directly underneath the air conditioner there. And I'll start off my presentation by a question that was asked to me by my fellow speaker outside, that what is climate finance? If I were to ask you, if you have a brief or vague idea of what is climate finance, or if you can say that I can go back, look into my phone, search the internet, and then I can come up with a definition. Who amongst you can tell me a very vague definition or meaning of what is climate finance? Or I gave you the second option. If you can go back, if I can give you 1 minute to search on the internet, can still then you be able to give me the definition? I mean, come on, you all use ChatGPT.
Funding for climate-related solutions, climate tech solutions.
Right. Perfect. So that's all. But the hard reality is there's no definition of climate finance. And this is the whole debate in the global space. Countries are literally fighting on what entails climate finance, what are the sources, what are the instruments, and who gets it. And one of the delegates that my speaker before me was mentioning, that ICSE sends to COPs. I'm one of them. I went to COP29 last year as their delegation of ICSE in Baku. Baku was termed as the finance COP. And it was seen by the whole world what gets delivered in this year. But again, countries were not happy with it, especially India. India called it an optical illusion. Baku conference was basically, I think it was more focused on how to deliver a new climate finance goal. So Paris Agreement is an agreement that was signed in 2015. UNFCCC is the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change with 197 member parties. 196, I mean US keeps on adding and removing, so I'm not very clear on the number. But again, so the earlier climate finance goal was $100 billion. And according to the OECD, which is again a developed country owned body, said that by 2022 this figure was accomplished. I mean the developed countries had given $100 billion to the developing countries, which was again by Oxfam report falsely cited number. According to Oxfam, only $20 billion out of this was actually climate finance, because the rest of $80 billion was market rate loans. Now let's take a step back. Why do we need climate finance? Why is it central to climate ambition? Just think of creating a house which has solar panels, which has green energy, which has hydro energy, which has like construction materials which is less on CO2 emissions. You have everything figured out, but again, you can't afford it. You have no money for it. This is exactly how most of the climate projects are right now in the world. The plan is there, maybe some capacity is there, but the funding is not there. Even if the funding is there, you've been given loans. Now think from a developing country or a least developed country's perspective, when you're already in debt crisis. Majority of the countries right now are either in debt or are vulnerable to debt. If you give them more loans for solving a problem that they didn't create in the first place, it was created by the countries who got developed first, to be very precise. Now, this is not fair for them. This is not right. That is how and why the whole climate finance negotiations happen. And every year, countries assemble and gather to debate on how do we get this finance flowing in countries. This year, it's happening in Belém, Brazil. So, the definition, coming back to the definition, the UNFCCC website, it's a funny thing, the frequently asked questions section of the UNFCCC is actually giving out a definition that money raised locally, internationally and nationally for projects for adaptation and mitigation is called climate finance. But again, technicalities are not there. Countries have actually counted military aid as climate finance. I'm not going to name countries, but this is happening. It's a harsh reality. Definitions are very important, they're crucial, and that is where regulations come in. For India specifically, we have come out with a draft climate finance taxonomy. What taxonomies do is they give out definitions. They tell you what is green, they tell you what is climate finance, they tell you what is sustainable finance, and they prevent greenwashing from happening. Greenwashing simply meaning that countries use money that should be going to climate projects but for other purposes, and that is something that taxonomies prevent. Again, this talk will not be about a story or a journey. I want to keep this more focused on the Q&As, because I'm sure a lot of you have a lot of questions about ESG and climate finance in general. I work as a climate finance and ESG associate at Climate Trends. It's a policy research consultancy and also capacity building initiative. Apart from this, I am a climate finance coordinator at Yango. Yango is the official youth constituency of the United Nations Climate Change. And we deal with capacity building. We have a climate finance academy that happens every year. The applications closed recently, otherwise I would have pitched it again here for all of you to apply. And what we do is we engage youth in climate negotiations. We try to build a narrative, if I say so, that the focus and the clarity should be right. I mean, people from developing countries should know that the concept of CBDR RC exists, which is common but differentiated responsibilities and respective capabilities. That countries which have developed way before than you are historically mandated and responsible to pay for the money that you need for becoming net zero. So I think that is a brief of what I wanted to tell you. But I'm more again interested about answering questions that you might have about job opportunities in ESG, climate finance, and
questions in the networking.
Oh, so that's why I just took 2 minutes to keep the last 3 minutes for questions. But I had a hand there, so if I may. What kind of projects?
Loaded question. I think that one you should take at networking.
All right, so
okay, there are many
we can take
types
this
of
outside.
projects. We are really running short on time. You can catch him, he'll be outside at networking, so you can speak to him then. We now have a short workshop by LinkedIn on how you can build your green profile and unlock LinkedIn for networking, and also to find opportunities, internships, apprenticeships, jobs. You can even stalk people's profiles on LinkedIn and try to understand what their journey has been if you're interested in something, and you can utilize that to create a similar journey for yourself. 5-6 logo ka dekh lo, you get a representative sample, and then you can create something for yourself. So it will help to democratize and demystify and simplify how, I'm sure Suhail has a LinkedIn profile. I don't know if you updated it or not, but you can stalk him and see how he created a 2 crore revenue company with a 10% net profit margin, 3 crore, sorry, with a net profit of 10%, which most paka hua people cannot generate. So being an investment banker myself in a previous career, one of the things I learned was that LinkedIn was a very, very powerful tool to build my network. And it was also a way that I was able to, sorry, can we shut that, Evie? It was also a way that I was able to connect with young people. So I don't know if Tanya is going to touch upon this, but this is one really important advice that I want to give you. If you call someone and say, sir, मुझे job चाहिए, वो वहीं पे phone नीचे कर देगा. किसी को भेजोगे, मेरे को internship चाहिए, वहीं phone. But थोड़ा LinkedIn में DM करो, sir, love your journey, very inspired by your journey. I'm very interested in this space. Would you like to get a coffee sometime so I can learn more about your journey? Get those information, वो मिलेंगे आपसे पक्का. You know how many people I met as a managing director at a global investment bank in New York for 20 years. But I met at least 500 young people that way. And so don't think that, oh, मैं message भेजूंगा और वो पता नहीं कहाँ पहुँचेगा. कोई ना कोई ज़रूर पकड़ेगा. हम सबको पता है, अगर ऊपर जा रहे हो, सबको साथ लेके नहीं जाओगे तो नीचे आओगे तो मैं कोई पकड़ेगा नहीं. तो and then secondly, you know, nobody can do this alone. Somebody might be senior or whatever they might be. At the end of the day, they are nothing without their team. So developing young talent is extremely, extremely important. And that is why we thought that a session by LinkedIn would be really interesting. It is a powerhouse that we can all leverage. And after the session, please give us your email. We are going to send you an e-certificate that you can then attach to your LinkedIn profile. So Tanya Jha, please, who is from LinkedIn.
First off, thank you so much. I fully that we can fully be stalking people on LinkedIn. I've done that a lot. I've seen people doing that to me and then landing jobs as well. Some of the other parts also that you said. So we'll quickly get into that. But before anything, thank you so much. It's a pleasure being here, addressing this crowd. I have kept it rather simple for today because I was under the impression it's mostly going to be the youth and it is targeted towards the youth. Okay, I'll catch them later maybe. But even if, some of the speakers, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. This is more at a surface level. I'll quickly start with an introduction. So I'm a client solutions manager with LinkedIn. If I were to explain my job in simpler terms, that is I work with a lot of these organizations and brands on a day-to-day basis, making sure that, how can they leverage LinkedIn better, the platform, how can they make it more cost efficient for themselves. The reason why I say this is because after having worked with these organizations and brands day in and day out, I see, and I've had the opportunity of seeing firsthand the kind of opportunities there are for everybody, right? For businesses, for individuals, for the youth, the young professionals like yourselves. It is the biggest myth that we see, and I keep hearing it, that LinkedIn is only for like established businesses, for B2B conversations. B2B is business to business conversations. That is not at all the case. You'd be amazed to see how much you could be doing once you build a personal brand for yourself and this goes without saying. You have seen influencers on Instagram. You have seen influencers on these other social media platforms that there are. Once you have made a presence for yourself on a platform like LinkedIn, people come up to you with opportunities. वो dialogue याद है 3 Idiots का था, that you build your skill sets and लोग झक मार के पीछे आएंगे. That is exactly what happens once you build a profile for yourself. So I'm not going to give you a lot of theory, so to say. We'll look at a couple of practical examples that I have done and I've seen working for me and for my peers, my colleagues. But you let me know if you have any specific questions for me. Shall we get cracking? Okay, so is there a slider? Great. Now you must be wondering that this is a conference on sustainability education. What is LinkedIn doing here? Now, all of you that are here, either you're already pioneers and doing some phenomenal work in this industry, or others of you, you're really interested and passionate about making a career for self over here, right? You're not treating it as just a passion project. You want to be focusing all your energies towards it. How does that happen? That happens when you either get some internship in it. Like there's a place where you're going to have to start from, right? You get into internships, you maybe get a job so that you're earning from it and all your energies are focused towards this. There are ample opportunities and like ample reasons of why LinkedIn is important for you at this time. I've only added 4 here, 4 blaring reasons for you. The first one is global reach. I'm not sure if you can see, but this is the first option, the first pointer rather, global reach. Can you take a random guess of how many members are there on LinkedIn? Like any guess? Anyone? It's just a number you have to say. 1 billion? Where? Like globally? You are almost right. So we have slightly upwards of 1 billion members across the globe on the platform. 1 billion we met last year, so now it is 1 point something billion that we have. And just in India, any random guess of how many folks you'd be able to reach out to in India that are there on the platform and are actively using it? By actively, I mean at least logging in once a week. 170 million. That is a very, very, very big scale for you to reach out to. And the second pointer that I have here is recruiters use LinkedIn. Now, there was a survey done recently. 55% of the recruiters transparently and openly shared that they check out LinkedIn profiles of members before they even scan through their CVs. Now, think about it. You have all the skill sets, right? You have all the requirements, all the prerequisites that are there, that are needed for the job. But just because you missed out on creating a profile for yourself on LinkedIn, you're boxed out of that competition by the recruiter. Would that seem fair to you later on? No? Can I get a response from you guys over there? Guys, you are the students for whom this session is majorly for. I really need to be hearing answers from you. Would that be fair for you later? So should you be just sitting quietly in a corner, or should you be acting upon it and making a profile for yourself today? Thank you, I heard you. The third reason written over here is Green sector equals cross-industry boom. Any idea what that means? Like, any idea? Green sector equals cross-industry boom. And a lot of the other speakers have also covered it today. So any random guess or whatever you can make out of this? Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. This exactly means what she said, that, it is not industry agnostic. Sustainability is everywhere, wherever you go. Gone are the days jab hum sochte the sustainability and we would only be reminded of NGO. We'd just be linking it to NGO. It is no longer one-dimensional. You name any FMCG, you name any tech company, any finance company, so to say, they would all have a sustainability arm in them today, which means all of these companies are going green. If they're going green, what does that mean? It brings us to the fourth pointer, which is they are creating more jobs, more internships, and more learning opportunities for us. Okay, building a strong profile. This is what we'll move to. I'll just, highly implore you guys to take a minute and read through the first line that is written there. Your profile equals to your story. Of course, it didn't take a minute for you guys to read it, but I truly mean it, that your profile is your story in today's day and age. Whatever you do, so your career graph, all that you have been passionate about, all that you have done so far, think of this, your profile as a cover letter to your personal book, if I were to put it that way. Because while there will be a lot of flares, at least by looking at your profile, a recruiter or even somebody from an organization that you would be interested in joining tomorrow, they will be able to see that, okay, this is how your career path has been so far. These are the things that you're interested in. These are the type of content that you engage with or you consume, and that would help them build an image of you. Do you agree with me? Do you think this would happen? Do you guys usually go and check out other people's profiles as well? Yes. What for majorly, if I can ask? Inviting speakers for your conferences, events. Okay. For collaborations. Okay. Okay. Understood. So that is more from like a business standpoint. But personally, what do you use it for? What do you leverage it for? Yes.
I use it to check out the bios of people and, try to figure out, okay, what do I need to do in my life to, reach
where they are currently at.
And the second thing that I use it for personally, which I think that a lot of people don't realize, is let's say you're looking at a company that you're interested in, you see a job opportunity. So when I click on that company, below it shows 2-3 very cool features. One is who are the people at that company and what are the jobs that company is posting and what are the stories that company has posted. What is that company talking about? So if you have an interview,
absolutely,
you can prepare कि अच्छा ये press release निकले तो interview में 2-4 लगा देना वो press release. And when you figure out the people, it will tell you what are your mutual connections in that company. Who can introduce you to the person that you want to meet in that company, and who do you know common. It will tell you that. So I think for me that is...
No, exactly. Thank you so much. You're really helping me build my case over here with the presentation. But what she said is 100% true. In fact, I think she also mentioned earlier that, you can just be reaching out to people, asking them for a coffee or to have a small chat. We'll get to it in a bit. But these are the things that'll actually help you network with these people, not just pinging them, hello, please get me a job, or this is my CV, randomly sending them your CV, asking them for a referral. That will absolutely, you will be tanking 100% with that approach. But okay, if we look at your profiles, first of all, a quick show of hands. Do all of you, mostly the students and the young professionals, do all of you have a LinkedIn profile? A different question. Please, a quick show of hands. How many of you don't? And it's completely okay to not have one. Was it?
For them to have a LinkedIn. Yes, I was not
But good that you have it any which way. We do have a segment right after this where we'll go ahead and quickly make our post, about the ICSE 2025 conference that you guys are attending. We'll just get to that in a bit. But given that you all have profiles, right, I'm sure you'd be able to make out of what is written here. The first is always, always have your picture and your banner there. Don't just be somebody anonymous who's hiding behind their keyboards. Show up with confidence, add your picture to their profile. You'll be amazed to see how much that brings to the table of, somebody who's viewing through your profile. The second is your headlines. You know where the headline shows up? Right beneath your LinkedIn profile picture and your name. So it is almost the first thing that catches somebody's eyes who is looking through your profile. Now, imagine if I just add my headline as student. Don't you think I'm just going to get lost in the crowd somewhere? Like just going to get lost in the shuffle? Do you think I'm going to stand out at all if I just write student as my headline? So always, or another option I'll give you. Maybe I write engineering student / passionate for renewable energy. Or, I don't know, like anything that you're actually passionate about. Do you think that is making you stand out now better than just writing a student? Guys, I'm sure Priyanka will shortly let you go have some tea, so you need to get your energy back. But yeah, that's what the second pointer says, that always have some value over there. Don't just be writing your designations that I'm doing this, I'm so and so. Show what you aspire to be in the future as well. The third is share your story, what drives you. This is your about section. Please don't go ahead and add your CVs. I've seen so many profiles who simply upload their CVs in the about section. All the recruiters who are looking at your profile, or even anybody else who just wants to see your journey, they can go through your experiences bit to see what all you have done. They can go through your volunteering bit to see what all projects you have volunteered in. Your about section should be a very crisp, a very short paragraph, just talking about, what drives you. So what are you all about? What drives you? What gets you excited? What are your aspirations in life work-wise? Now don't say I want to travel Europe. Work-wise, what are your aspirations? And then what is the kind of impact you want to create in the world, especially looking at the sector, right? Green sector, I'm sure you'd all be driven by a very strong messaging, and you'd all be looking towards creating some sort of impact even from an individual level. So go ahead and put that in your about section. Highlight all the project, any volunteering work that you do, any project that you take part in. Even if, let's say, you are not taking part in any project, but there is some initiative being taken in this industry that you have been following very, very closely. There's some new development that happens. Be a big cheerleader for them, right? So also learn how to go about celebrating other people's wins, the work done in the industry. It doesn't necessarily have to be your work, so do that as well, because that gets a lot of traction, and then you'll also be able to make your name in this specific industry as somebody who's driven for these causes. Does that make sense? The last is, of course, LinkedIn Learning. Do you guys know that there are so many courses within LinkedIn Learning that you can be taking for free? And you can also be very, very smartly and proudly displaying all of those courses that you've taken right there on your LinkedIn profile. If you haven't checked those courses out yet, now this is something I want to leave you with. Before the weekends, please get back to your LinkedIn Learning and see what all courses are there. I'm sure you'll be able to find 1 or 2 courses, certifications that you can take free of cost and display it on your profile. Okay, so this is a fun bit where the first point, I think we don't have to do of creating a LinkedIn profile because most of you have that already. But how about all of us do this one activity? We open our LinkedIn profiles and we add 1 post right now. So another round of question that I have for you guys is, most of you told me you have a LinkedIn profile already. Have all of you posted, or have all of you made your first post already? Or is there somebody, show of hands, somebody who has not posted anything on LinkedIn yet? You have your profile updated but haven't posted yet. Okay, we do have a couple of you. So how about you open your LinkedIn profile, and then this is the line, this is the sentence that you use. Just a correction, when you say hashtag ICSE 2025, don't use a space in between. Otherwise it won't get tracked fully. But we'll just add this one post, excited to be part of hashtag ICSE 2025, exploring green opportunities with Mobius Foundation. Now, there are two, so it is going to have twofold result. First, you will have made your first valuable post on LinkedIn. And second, you will also be able to track it. So just like Instagram, I'm giving a reference of Instagram for most of you. But you know how you add certain hashtags and you get all of the posts that have utilized the same hashtags? Yeah? The same happens with LinkedIn as well. So even if you want to be looking at, you know, the LinkedIn top voices who are doing some phenomenal work in these industries, in these sectors, or let's say you have a very specific somebody who's into climate tech solutions. So you write hashtag climate tech solutions and it will show up all of the posts of people who are working in these industries or at least are posting content in these industries. So when you do this, tomorrow, you can also go back, search for this hashtag and then network amongst yourself. Because if all of you are here, I'm sure you have the similar aspiration in life, right? So you can always keep in touch, network with each other, understand what more projects are there, what is somebody else diving deeper into, and then take part in that. Sounds good? Yes. Very, very quickly, very, very quickly. So guys, please do this, or I think I'll just let you guys take a screenshot of this, so you can post that without fail today. Can you all take a screenshot, please? Okay. Next slide is green opportunities on LinkedIn. I've said this once, I'll say this again. LinkedIn is more than a profile, it's a launch pad. Whatever you want. You want internships, you want networking, you want jobs. For everything, LinkedIn is your place to be. How can you be doing that? I think we've touched upon the hashtags as well, so I'll keep it very, very short. Go search on LinkedIn on the basis of hashtags. I'm sure you guys would be, you know, you'd know more than me because half of you are doing phenomenally well in the same industry, the speakers. And the students also that you're here, you are driven, which is why you're attending this conference. When I had to make this search or make this research, I went to LinkedIn, put the hashtag, different permutation combinations of climate change, of sustainability, climate ad tech, like I mentioned, responsible businesses, any such words that you can think goes with your industry, go look for them and you'll be able to find them. In terms of jobs, just by doing this research, now nobody can help you there. This research will have to come from you. This is a bit where it will require your due diligence, but once you do that, when I did it, the kind of opportunities I found were crazy. So I found there's green bonds. I didn't know about this. There are also job openings in green bonds. So just how normal bonds are, right? You raise funds against bonds. There's something called green bonds. So say if Delhi raises money of funds against green bonds, then they are committing to utilizing that fund only towards some sustainable project within the, within the city. And then they have a specific arm created where there are job positions open, who will be overseeing that the funds are being used correctly. Then there goes your first job opportunity just by doing the simple research. If you talk about these management consulting firms, forget manufacturing, forget automobile, because we all know that there are a lot of business arms specifically for sustainability and renewable energy over here. But for management consulting, which you probably wouldn't even have thought of, they are all creating a special unit, a special job function to make sure that all of their products, all of their services are sustainable, like, are checking that sustainable factor, which gives you more jobs within these. So if I talk about opportunities, there are plethora of opportunities. You should just know where to look and how to be looking for those. But any questions on how you can be finding those jobs? Any questions? Are you guys clear? Yes. Perfect. Networking and outreach. Priyanka already has beautifully captured it, but I'll just take 1 minute to say this again. Never reach out to somebody and tell them, hi, I need a job, or directly send them your CV and say that, can you please refer me for so-and-so position? You need to be building meaningful connections. You don't just want contacts to be formed by the way of LinkedIn. how do you build meaningful connections? One example she has given you already. For example, if I were to do it, right, I would probably just message somebody on LinkedIn that, hi, I'm Tanya. I'm a client solutions manager with LinkedIn. I saw that you have worked with LinkedIn previously. I really enjoyed reading through this one post that you posted on LinkedIn. I'll probably link that and say, would you be interested or would you be available for a cup of coffee or a quick chat even? I'd love to learn more about your journey. Does this sound better? Or the other question of, hi, can you please refer me sounds better? And do you think if I would have gone to her with the first approach, she even would have referred me? I don't think so. But once you build these connections, different ways of doing it is also, so this is one way where you just DM, right? Now, another way is you stay top of their mind, which is a mind game that you have to play. You have to first start with identifying. Identify that these are the 6 companies that I aspire to join one day. From within those 6 companies, identify the job function that you would want to be joining tomorrow. Because if I want a marketing job, connecting with somebody from finance, while it is good for me to connect, but it is not going to reap me any benefits in my professional journey, right? So identify the companies, identify the folks that you want to be reaching out to, send them connection requests, and then whenever you see their posts, leave a value add comment, not just amazing post, but like, what did you learn from their post? A small paragraph, just 2 to 3 lines. When you start doing that 2 times, 3 times, quadruple times, that is when you'll start getting their, being on their top of mind as well. After that, if you reach out to them with a job vacancy that's there, that could you please refer me, they will have remembered your name. They will know that you have been engaging with content in a certain space, and it will be much easier for you to, are you with me? Anybody? Exactly.
So the link is only to say, can I get coffee with you? After that, in 15 minutes, as you're going to have coffee, they're not going to ask you any questions, and you're not going to stand over there and say, I'm this, I'm that, I've done this, and no. Through a general conversation about their interests and your interests and what you'd like to do in life, you're going to develop that relationship. They're going to love you, they're going to build some trust with you. They'll refer you to their friend who does exactly what you want to do. Maybe they don't. So it is about forming in-person connections as well. The reason I say this is a lot of young people are living in the virtual world. And it's important that the virtual world is just, it helps you to build a connection, and then you have to meet in person. So that's your goal. Your goal is not the job. There will be job postings also, but the goal is to have that 15-minute coffee in person. And your goal should be to have one 15-minute coffee chat every week. Okay? Or every month.
Month. Let's start with month.
Every month. And if you just do that, don't worry about anything else. Just go meet people. And then you come back to me in 1 year and tell me whether you didn't get the internship that you were looking for, the job that you were looking for, or the course that you were looking for, whether you were not able to get that.
And just to add on, I absolutely hate to break it to you, but a lot of the opportunities that you do get, right, they are coming from a person. They are coming from people. They're not coming from boards of a company directly. And as much as we all want to live in a fair world, the world is not that fair. So until and unless you have these connections where there are people who are backing you up in rooms where you are not available, you're not going to cut that around, right? Or it's going to be visibly more difficult for you, or relatively more difficult for you. So it is extremely crucial for you to be creating those interpersonal connections directly with them. I think I've just gotten to the end of it. What to post, I just have this here. I think basis our discussion, this should be not as difficult. You should be posting about your learnings from your projects, your internships, your reflections on courses. So if there's any course that you take, if there's any visit that you guys have to a certain client's office or a certain plant, what did you learn there? All of that should go in your LinkedIn post. And like I said, it's not just about you. even if you haven't yet been able to do something, but you see others doing very well in that industry, be their cheerleaders, celebrate them, repost their stories, or maybe add a fresh post about them. That also goes on to show that you have an interest and inclination in that area. All right. Be authentic, engage, like I said, comment, like, share, but meaningfully. I'll just go to the don't very, very quickly. Please don't spam them with please connect messages. Please don't spam them with ma'am or sir referral. Don't copy paste without credit, because now even if you just chat GPT everything without making changes, LinkedIn has started taking a note of that and your posts can be taken down. And don't leave your profile blank and inactive. That is an absolute no-no. Here we have some inspirations, but I'll quickly skim through. I think we've looked at a lot of inspirations today already. Most of these are top voices. You can just go to LinkedIn and search for LinkedIn's top voice and those hashtags and you'll see. Lastly, I'm just going to leave you with this thought that the future is green and it starts with you. The fact that so many of you have turned up here already. You have taken a step towards the right direction, and yeah, I think that's it. So kudos to you, congratulations, and you have a good evening.
And just one final thought, right? Do hashtag internship. Let's see what India is offering young people to get them into the economy. Let's see. Can we commit to do hashtag internship? Let's look at that. The one thing I want to leave you with, and I've spent 20 years in New York and 20 plus years here in India. So equal time of my life in the US and India. And there are some wonderful, wonderful things about India and about the US, and there are all pros and cons. Let's not get into that. But one interesting thing that I got from that I want to share personally is that a work ethic, doing something, starts very early on in the US. Children at the age of 5 and 6, they put lemonade stands outside their house. They mow people's lawns to make pocket money. You know what it teaches them? It teaches them business from a very, very young age. Now, you are still young. You're going to, there's a neighbor of mine who's 5-year-old, I don't know, got like $40,000-$50,000 over the summer because he was just collecting waste bottles, and then he recruited people to collect waste bottles across the other towns, and then he was running some sort of a Amway Ponzi scheme or whatever, and they were just picking up plastic bottles and giving it to the grocery store and making, 10 cents on the bottle. Probably 12 or 13-year-old kid. But there is no age to think like an entrepreneur. The education system might slot you that now you're 10th pass, you're 12th plus, you're, third year. But there is no age for you to start thinking creatively. And another part of the personal journey which inspired me to put this together, I was a very, very good student in school. So what I understand a good student to be is not somebody who gets 99.999% marks, but somebody who gets 75% marks, and he's very good on the field, very good on stage, writes poetry, does whatever they feel that they're interested in. And so I did that. That's what I thought was a good student. So I learned dance with Dr. Sonal Mansingh for 12 years. I used to write poetry, I used to play sitar, and even though I was not good at sports, I played zonal level sports for 3 sports, and I did all of that. And then I had my 10th boards, and I did decently well by fluke, because, my teachers always used to say, you never do your homework, but you still get the marks, whatever it is. So then it was like science lay, arts lay, maths lay. I was like, Mama, I want to take commerce or arts or something like that, because I love extracurricular. If you keep me outside the class, I'm much better there. No. But if you have got 85 or 90% marks, and if you're worth your salt, you will take science. Okay? So that is what happened to me as well. So I was forced into science and I took PCMB, all of them, without exception. And okay, fine, I did that. It crushed my soul. My dancing, my poetry, my sitar, whatever, sports, hanging out with friends, everything was finished. But anyway, I did, study and whatever, and I unfortunately got 78% marks, best of 4, although in 1994 when I graduated, I think it would be something like 85. Okay, there's a lot of grade inflation that's happened, so just, maybe I got 85% mark. But all these things that we did, and for some of the educators, I would really ask you to think about it. When you need 99.9% marks to get into a decent college in Delhi University, and then the national education policy is saying eco club karte hain, ye karte, wo karte, what would be your advice to your kid or your student that you really care about? Where should they spend their marginal 1 minute? There's a lot of burden, lot of pressure on students these days. And I would say that we need to not talk at students, even though maybe we've done a little bit of that today, but they need to be in the room when we make these policies, because not everybody can get 99.999% marks, and they deserve the best education. So given all of that, what I would say is, padna to padega. Okay, right now that is the situation. You need those 90% plus situation. That's the situation. But summer vacation mein, us time kuch internship, kuch karo, if you can. I don't say, if we had the kind of pressure that you guys have today in terms of the marks, the subjects, I think we would drown. Okay, we would not be able to manage it. But if you can, in your summer vacations, please take some time. Work with one of these founders that you spoke with. They all have kids, or they're kids themselves. They'll relate to you. They'll want to do it. They all came out. They took their time to speak to all of you because they care about it. All of us are uniquely affected by our own personal traumatic journeys. And because of that, we want to demystify this for you, and we want to help you to be able to be really successful in whatever it is that you want to do. And just remember, just because you didn't get science in 10th, just because you didn't get economics honors in first year or whatever, college, just because you didn't get into that college, into that course, it does not define who you are. You have heard so many stories from entrepreneurs who did one thing, then they did something else. Some of them are first generation learners in their family. Their parents have probably never even gone to school. So life is very long. Little bit let the pressure go. There's a lot for you to do, and thank you so much for being so patient over this long session. Thank you to all of the educators, all of the children who are here, and all of the speakers who took time out to come and speak to all of us today. Thank you very much. I think there is some food outside. I'm not exactly sure, but okay, let's go eat.
Your journey, comparing to the others was better. Like, I could really relate to you.